everyone has.
Deke. Did anybody see me hit the members intro? I did that. Yeah, I'm getting a little punchy today. I don't know what's going on. By the way, did you or did you not order your Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, because I'd be curious to know. And I gifted 5 channel memberships. Pays to be here early. How's everybody doing today? We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk all sorts of stuff. We're going to show some cool unproduced 1/18 scale Joe stuff. We might get a little bit into the why of that. I'm going to let SOOKA kind of determine if we're going to do that. Then we're going to show some awesome stuff that SOOKA's been working on with his company, the Toxic Toy Depot. If you haven't seen what SOOKA offers, links are always in the description below. Please go check out his store. He's got some rad stuff, 1/18 scale, 1/12 scale, whatever you want. And then he's going to show off a piece of a playset that he and I have been working on that comes directly out of Dan Klingensmith's Creating G.I. Joe, volume 15, page 39. If you know, you know. That's a project that he and I have been working on for a minute. I'm sorry I didn't throw up all this stuff during the intro. I was trying to get those channel memberships. Yeah, a little behind. So greetings to everybody. Thanks for being here. We're going to get a little fast and furious on this. So without further ado, my buddy and yours, all the way from the Toxic Toy Depot, trademark SOOKA, this guy. What's up, buddy?
What's up, everybody? Woo! Yeah!
Shit. Can we say that? What's up, my man? How you been?
Pretty good, man. How about you on this glorious day of the Lord scale?
On the day of the Lord scale, we celebrate SOOKA. I'm great, my friend. I'm great. I got something to show you and everyone else in the chat. Since we're talking about unproduced, I got another toy that was pitched to be in A Real American Hero, but did not make it. And Mike Makes People on Instagram sent it to me. You want to see it now? You want to see it now? Okay, we're going to see it now. All right, so from Mike Makes People, I didn't show the address side so people can't dox me. I don't give a shit. Come on over.
I've already done that multiple times.
I'm going to give you a hint. This first piece that I'm going to show goes with a historical figure who Kirk Pazigian and his team tried to make a character in G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. You ready for the hint?
I know the hint already. I see it.
Anybody else? It looks like the president's desk, yeah? Yeah. So this is the president's Resolute desk. To go with 118 O-ring, Ronald Mother Friggin' Reagan. So I am stoked to have this just because of the the historical significance of the fact that they wanted to put Reagan in G.I. Joe and they weren't allowed to. But yeah, man, there he is.
Are you gonna show that to Bazigian at DFW?
I probably will. Yeah,
I would.
I told Mike I'd do a video on it. Now I just need a chair, but dude, look at that. Perfect.
You need the red phone too.
Yeah, I need the red phone. So, yeah, he's going to need a few little accessories. Going to accessorize his desk, but yeah, there he is, the Gipper, man.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's hard to see the face sculpt, but it looks like it's kind of blending the lines of the original. Close. Oh yeah, that fits right into the line. Holy shit, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah, man. That fucking Ronnie is solid, man.
Yeah, that looks like it would have been made that way.
You know, these cameras
right on.
Yeah, there he is. But and then if you want a close up of the Resolute desk.
Yeah, that symbol's clean.
Yeah, it's the desk is pretty fucking tight, man. So yeah.
What a beauty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have a whole playset of the inner of the Oval Office.
No.
General Hawk is like,
I don't need that. I don't need that. Trickle down these nuts. Yeah. Hey, but as a Joe guy, you know, knowing that Reagan was pitched to be in the line, I think it's cool that I have an unproduced Ronald Reagan to go with my Joes.
Hey,
kind of the theme of tonight, right? We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that could have been, all the rad stuff that could have been, which we've done a few times before, but.
And some of this stuff is Joe stuff that I think people forgot because a lot of these years of Joe cons and collectors clubs, Hasbro showed product off and then it just never showed up. And then also 1/18th during a certain time frame was everywhere, and we're going to talk about why it's not
everywhere. I mean, it is still large scale.
Exactly.
I tried to put some fun church music in my in my array of sounds, and like I was hauling ass to get all this stuff done before Max got backstage for the members only pregame, which if you're not a channel member, you missed out because I showed some cool shit. But the song was too long, so it wouldn't take it. I got to cut it down. But whatever. Bush Sr. was CIA. Where's his figure? They never pitched George Herbert Walker Bush to be in A Real American Hero. They only pitched Reagan because Commander-in-Chief, right?
I'm not sure that Bush would have fit in with Star Brigade and Battle Corps, but you know.
No, but Ronnie would have. He keeps the glasses on. We're not going 5 hours today, kids. The mam's flying back from Texas, so yeah, we're gonna get hot and heavy and get into it. Yeah. Was Big Lob the biggest omission in the 80s?
What about Pythona? She would be up there too.
Yeah, I mean, there were several. I mean, he was one, but I mean, hey, they made an awesome con or club. Was he club or con? He was club.
Con?
Yeah. That Big Lob figure is awesome. So, I mean, they rectified it. Whatever. Yeah. Let's Brad missed out on the members only pregame because he fell asleep in his pool.
Man, that's kind of
trying to drown. What the fuck? All right. That's fine. Our good friend Will from Wilhelm Toy and Hobby, who was streaming today as well. Look, I'm just saying, TGIS Sunday streams, they're really starting to get good. Will was streaming. I'm streaming. Hella Dope's going to stream. And then AO Frankie's going to have Ryan on later on. So, yeah. But Will sends his Chad chat, 13 months. Thank you, my friend. Says, can't wait to see the playset project. What playset project?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Look, I haven't seen it either. This guy has not shown it to me yet. So I'm going to see it for the first time with everyone else tonight. And I can't freaking wait to see it. Yeah. Nothing beats a floating nap. I think drowning would kind of ruin that. I don't,
A little
that's
bit.
just
Teeny bit, a little bit. But yes,
I
and the
have text
playset
from my handler.
stuff that'll be shown later. It's gonna be a surprise for everyone. A lot of work went into it. It has been a long process to get to this point. We've been talking about it for a long time, so hopefully it debuts with enthusiasm.
Yeah. We're gonna do it. Go full heel and just show a cardboard backdrop. If you have a piece of cardboard, I'm sure I got some bones lying around. We can show that. Here's our playset project. Yeah.
I drew it on a piece of paper. It's real now.
Hey, speaking of which, look what else I got.
Oh,
yeah.
Gobots.
Tom Miller, he pops into the chats every now and again. He found this and he sent this thing to me. Money.
Is that a carrying case?
Yeah.
For the little Gobots?
Yeah, it's for the little Gobots, little Gobots collector case.
Man, that seems like a great idea, like a reuse of the Hot Wheels cases to make spots for little Gobots. That's
for them little Gobots. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm surprised it's something Hasbro would have thought up, but didn't.
I got a Gobots collector case and I got a Ronald Reagan O-ring. Good week, man. All right,
I got to pick up too that I'll show off at the end of our talk about 118th, but for a teaser, just show. Oh, what was that?
Oh. All right, let me share these pictures. Share the screen. And again, thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. It's nice to be back and get back in the swing of things, you know? So, yeah.
So this right here is what I consider to be my one that got away. So
yeah,
to get to where we are right now in this discussion, you have to understand that 1/18 scale was a huge thing in the mid 2000s that because of G.I. Joe's relaunch with the Toys R Us anniversary line, that kicked off this massive relaunch of military toys at retail, from Leonard Decor and Chat May producing stuff, True Heroes, and a bunch of these companies that were Chinese, Blue Box International, Merit International, JSI, they all came out swinging. And then we had one American company, 21st Century Toys, who also jumped in, that were doing World War II based offerings, while these other ones were doing modern. This was going to be the very first offering from 21st Century Toys of the modern age for them, because they had only done Vietnam and World War II up until this point. And this thing was apparently so big that they were struggling to find a manufacturing company that could pull it off. And the information that I'm telling you is essentially based upon my time being in forums for like 20 years during this whole period, where we had employees from some of these companies that would come out and were fairly open-minded and transparent about what was going on behind the scenes, because it was a smaller company. And you know, the 1/18th crowd back then was kind of like a niche area, but you walk into Walmart and you see a big ass plane for $40, of course you're going to buy it, because you know you're into G.I. Joe or you're into military or whatever it is. And this one was at the tail end of their time, which we'll discuss why it ended, but this was the big kahuna. This was, people were waiting on this for so long, and they were so excited that someone was finally doing an A10 in 1/18, true 1/18 scale.
Right.
I mean, that it's no joke how large this thing actually was. But this is the only known photograph of the actual prototype made, the only 3-dimensional prototype that ever got made, this is the only photo that exists. Now, it's possible others out there exist, maybe with the owners, the founders that used to have all those assets. But as far as we are known, this is the only photo we ever saw of the production of this A10.
So let me ask you something. 21st Century Toys, correct me if I'm wrong, they were known for making things true to scale, right? Was that 21st Century that did that? So this was a big ass vehicle.
Huge.
Yeah. This was not the size of a Rattler. You're talking like at least twice that size.
Oh yeah. Let me give you an example here. So this is essentially was a Mark 82 Snake Eyes bomb, right?
Mhm.
And this is a factory kit piece, and this is actually articulated with the wings
There you go.
to slow down the drag, you know, for the low altitude bombings.
Yep.
But this is just one of the small bombs on that wing, and look at the size of it.
Yep.
So it's
That's
big.
freaking awesome.
It was a honker.
Well, since you keep saying big, 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 I have to give the obligatory.
That's what she said.
You know, got to do it. Yeah. Ooh, another thing we're gonna do today, Imbecile of the Week.
Ooh, yeah.
I do that, yeah. And then I've had requests to bring back the word of the day. It was a little late to do it today, but we'll do that next week. So yeah, next week we'll bring back the word of the day. Ken's Toys is asking 3-foot wingspan.
Probably.
I mean, if you've seen some of
in real life either.
Some of 21st Century's true to scale stuff was massive. That's what she said.
Well, and then JSI went the full tilt on that with the F-14. That thing was just stupid, man.
Oh yeah. Well, remember those guys that had them on display at DFW last year, right behind the Cotswold booth?
Yeah,
the thing was
the F-16.
Yeah,
but the F4, I had the F-14 for a short time, and both rear landing gears broke because it was so heavy.
Yeah,
that they would just snap. And if you put the JSI F-14 on a flag, it's about like 3/4 of the length of the flag. I mean,
yeah, it's huge.
What a real true scale 118 is of that plane.
Mother Slug is asking, why wasn't the A10 ever used in G.I. Joe? Was it a licensing problem? The basic answer is that because they used a version of a vehicle based heavily on the A10 for Cobra, right? Because they got the Rattler. So yeah, that's why. And then, you know, they kind of had to Mars Industry it up with the VTOL wings and whatnot. But Talib, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. All right. So anything else on the A10 before we truck on to the next one?
As a nerd, the VTOL on the A10 completely destroys the purpose of the A10, which is ironically funny.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Yeah.
No, that's all I got on that one. Again, that one has the information on it is so infantile. It's just nuts. I wish we could get like those guys to come out and talk someday about what they were working on.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be an awesome sit down. A lot of the examples that you sent me today, the Ron Rudat one, Guy Cassidy, that we're going to get into pretty much last. That's the one that I'm really looking forward to talking about. But yeah, you did some good deep dives on this. So let's move on to the F4 Phantom. Again, 21st Century Toys.
Yeah, this was another one that they fully announced this. Like this is their actual advertisement that was put on distributors' websites, and they were going to do 2 scales. As you see, 1/32 ended up going to Blue Box International, and they released it in 1/32 scale. But the big deal was that 1/18 scale of an F4 is, I don't know if people have ever been around an F4 on the ground next to you, but that is a big plane.
Hell yeah.
And this, you can see the time and monetary value has changed, that this thing was only $90 at 1/18 scale. And it had like everything, folding wings, the ailerons would move, landing gear, cockpit, everything. It was going to have loadouts. So this was another one that everybody kind of figured it was coming. I think there was even pre-orders through a couple of the websites back then, like Bad Cat Aviation and Flying Mule. I think they both offered it as a pre-order for a short time. And again, this was at the very end of 21st Century's existence, and everything kind of collapsed with those two announcements together. And this was another one that people were really excited for, and it just vaporized. And this again is one of the only few photos that was ever shown, and this one was, unlike the A10, which was an employee's photo, this is an actual, advertisement given to stores to sell the product.
Yep.
So nice though, so clean.
Yeah, with the suggested retailer price of $90.
Yep.
It's awesome, man. The interesting thing is you can see like Click and Play took a lot of inspiration from what 21st Century and other companies were trying to do when they were coming out with like their F-18 and other vehicles that they have. Because I mean, look at that attachment right there.
Oh yeah.
If you own a Click and Play F-18, like you know what that is, right? It guide rails onto the bottom of the aircraft, and then the armament slides into it.
And that some of that had to do with just physics, the weight of the products on the wings would actually cause stress on the wings. So if you didn't use traditional pylons, those sliding ones would allow the wings not to have so much weight on them for the model. So it was kind of like an in-between of saying, this is a perfect representation of 1/18 scale of an F4 versus a model. This is kind of toyetic. So it's kind of like a mix, which is fine. I mean, the overall profile is exactly 1/18 scale.
Mm-hmm. Again, just like this. So if we zoom in on the A10, but you can see the seat is how small that seat is in there, in the titanium bathtub that would be the cockpit versus the rest of the aircraft. Like it's a huge vehicle.
I'm pretty sure this is like, I'm pretty sure that A10 was a sculpted, like an actual gray model. It wasn't 3D printed or anything. It was like somebody actually made that, and that's why it's the only one available, and we don't know what happened to it. It could be in Roy Sutherland's house for all we know, but
it's probably sitting in a bin somewhere in Cotswold Collectibles, because Greg's got some weird, random, awesome shit just sitting around.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Dan's here. We're good. Dan's here. Good. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Yep. Cool. All right. So the F4, you've got some more that go along with the F4. What's this?
So this was one of those, I forget the term of it that they use, but this is like a 2-up or a 3-up or whatever it is. It was one of the pilots, modern pilots for 21st Century Toys sculpts.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we never got to see finalized in a true figure form. And 21st Century might have been the only toy line outside of G.I. Joe that was doing full articulation at 1/18 scale. They had more joints than anybody else.
Yep.
At that time, it was the most modern anything had been until the 25th, which came later than 21st Century's figures. So, and they got better and better over time themselves, including the sculpting.
Wax. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a large, whatever they do, and they do a really large version of it, and then they shrink it down.
Joel's here and said it's time for that bullshit. Because that's I mean,
that's that bullshit. That's that bullshit right there.
What about this? Now this is freaking rad, man.
So I'm pretty sure that I added this, even though it's technically 1/6 scale, but it's unproduced. And all I could see is that, imagine going into a store and seeing that thing on a shelf for like probably $50, and knowing that you could easily turn that into like a giant robot for your 1/18 scale G.I. Joes or whatever at the time. I think the prototype is from the mid 2000s. So this is right around when Avatar comes out. That's why the legs look so familiar. But this is one of those things that an employee left behind of something that they said they was being worked on before the rug was pulled out. But again, it just shows you that people were trying to kind of move forward and do new things without copying everybody else. And
Yeah. And this is also 21st century toys as well. Mother Slug, real quick question. Local comic shop has a full accessories. I guess he's saying complete Phantom X19 for $65. If it's complete for $65, yeah, you need to go buy that and don't tell anybody.
I'll go buy it right now, man. Where's that?
Yeah, where is it? Does it have the pilot? I mean, but I don't know. A complete X19 for $65, that doesn't sound right.
It's like a third of the actual price it would sell for.
Yeah, if that's accurate, go buy that right now. Absolutely. Push someone out of the way to buy that right now.
Yeah, punch a kid.
Be like a Hot Wheels collector. Get the okay. Now, Admiral Toys Skyraider. Let's talk about that.
So, Admiral Toys was a late entry company into the 1/18 scale market. They kind of just showed up, and there was an employee that jumped on the forums that we used to be on who would, they basically were split-offs from another company, and they immediately dove in and dumped a ton of money into making new jets. And they got two out. One was the F-86 Sabre, and the other one was a MiG-19, I think, a Russian MiG, or no, North Korean MiG. Those two came out, and then they did another version of the F-86 Paintway. This Skyraider was supposed to be next, and anybody who is an aircraft lover, the Skyraider is a massive, badass plane. I mean, that plane served so much, and so to have that in your collection at the time, that was a huge deal. That was a plane that helped save a lot of people. That was the only ground support they had in a lot of conflicts, and so everybody wanted it. Unfortunately, that company ran out of money and collapsed before this thing ever made it outside. It actually, they did do, I think, made it to production pieces, but it never got past the factory parts. The whole company fell out through the window, and we never heard about it again. And the guy who used to be kind of their spokesman said that once it was done, the original owner sold the molds to make the money back. And I will, at the end of this, tell you where you might be able to find some 118 gems that you have to build yourself.
The plot thickens.
Another
shot of it.
Same thing, though. I mean, fully kitted out, everything articulates, moving parts. It's essentially a model kit that's already assembled and painted. You put your figure in it, and you're done. And it was from that time where that stuff was normal. You could have probably picked this up for $70.
Right. It's a rad looking design. I mean, they put a lot of good detail in it, even up here in the gears and the struts. I mean, you see like the rivets and shit. Like they did a really good job on this vehicle.
The suspension, there's suspension on the struts.
But don't look at this. Fucking punchy today, man. I don't know what's going on.
So yeah, I mean, the rudders turned. You could move the rudders. I mean, it had air. You can see the brake flaps on the rear. Yep. Fully loaded up, man. It was a toy for the most part. You wouldn't want to give it to a child, but for a grown child, it'd be a great toy, like us.
For your favorite adult man child, yeah, it'd be awesome. Holonet says, I've no interest in prop planes. That era is too dated for me. Doesn't fit my Joe-verse.
But actually, to be fair, the Skyraider was used in modern conflicts. So the Skyraider essentially is what gave us the anger between the Army and the Air Force that gave us the A-10. So you kind of have to respect it for what it led to. because without that plane, the Army would have been like, we're going to go build our own shit because you guys won't give us ground support. And the Air Force would have been like, fine, go do what you want. But
whatever.
They were like, you can't take our money. We're going to make our own. And then complain.
God. All right. So now we're moving on to the modern era of Joes.
So
interesting. Look at this real quick. That looks really familiar. Let me zoom in on that.
Interesting. Wonder who that could be.
Interesting. I was once a man, right?
I was once a man.
I know we're talking more about vehicles and stuff, but yeah, they were going to make them. All right, so let's talk about this.
Photo is not made. I mean, I don't even know much about this stuff. I just was deep diving and I found pictures like, holy shit, this shit is badass. I got to show it. I don't even know what that plane is, but I believe this was 2009. This slide is from.
Yeah, it's that Cobra craft from Rise of Cobra.
I thought it was from Retaliation. Well, it might have been from Rise of Cobra, but I think this was for the Retaliation name line.
Oh, Hendo says it's from Sigma 6.
Is it?
That Sigma 6 G.I. Joe Hawk vehicle is awesome. Oh, yeah. Well, this isn't that. No, it won't fit 118.
Yeah, this one was originally like a one-seater
Pride Month
aircraft.
Yeah, I saw when you sent this, and they made. Well, this is so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the vehicle when the Cobra attack and they take out the Apaches? Is this not what Snake Eyes dives out of?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, this is what Snake Eyes dives out of in Rise of Cobra.
But I feel like this was like one of those things they did later. Like they went back and were like, "Hey, we should do that vehicle," but they did it like a couple.
Well, yeah, because they made the Cobra. They made that Cobra gunship, but they made it small. It was like a one-seater.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't make it larger. Yeah. But yeah, that's the Joe one, right? When they all come down on the weird little wire and Scarlet shoots the guy through the eye, and yeah, that's that vehicle. But I know we're talking more like unproduced 118 vehicles, but it's still in the realm. I just think it's rad that like there's proof positive they were going to make the Was Once a Man Commander.
I mean, even look at the figures there, because those figures were never made. Those are kit bashed. Obviously, somebody kit bashed those to try to sell something.
Oh yeah, this is a bunch of kit bash, yeah, because like this lower body, this torso, that's definitely a Rise of Cobra torso right there. Yeah. Dan R says lots of stuff I never knew about. I like it. Yeah, these little deep dives into unproduced stuff are always fun, man. They're real cool.
This is when we need like Daryl to tell us like what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
at the time.
Get Daryl on the phone. What scale is Sigma 6? Well, Sigma 6 was 2 scales. There's an 8-inch scale, and then there's a 2.5-inch mission scale, which was kind of more along the scale of Mask. I don't have my mission scale hiss handy right now. It's in a box behind this, but yeah. Woody, what's up, dude? Woody says, really love the 25th and 50th lines. Just with the heads were a tad bigger. Wish the heads were a tad bigger. Some of the 25th anniversary heads, I mean, let's be real. It was cool to see Joe in modern sculpt with articulation. Some of the 25th stuff wasn't that great. The little pea heads. You give me the look. What are you doing?
The head was bigger.
Oh.
That's what she said.
Thanks. All right, let's move on from this one. Oh, did I go one too far? No, I did not.
It's kind of a mess.
All right, we'll start here.
There you go.
So this is the Steel Wolf armored assault vehicle. Kind of looks like a mashup of several Joe vehicles that did come out, and obviously like the low-hanging fruit is the Aliens APC, right?
Dude, why won't they do shit like this in classified? This shit rocks the fucking boat. Pardon my French.
Pea head, you're a poop head. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Just badass, man. Look how much fun that thing would be. It's got a dirt bike in the back.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be for Snake Eyes because that's all he ever does is get on a freaking bike.
Sure. Well, I mean, the back folds down into a ramp, the sides fold down, the top lifts up. I mean, this obviously that's a 2-seater right there. I would have liked to have seen this door open. Maybe on the other side it does, but here's a better view of the motorcycle in the back.
Dude, even the motorcycle's badass. Like, it just looks that. It looks Joe. I mean, it's just
absolutely
perfect. I'm sure some chucklehead in corporate was like, but I don't want to release it. Oh.
These kind of look like hooligan tools, right? For raids.
Because
I mean, obviously that's clipped down in there, but yeah, man, everything about this vehicle is awesome. And again, foot pegs, right? Foot pegs are the real big thing because vehicles sell figures, figures sell vehicles. It's a symbiotic process. So the more foot pegs you put on a vehicle, like Frank Coronius was saying, he got chastised for not putting a lot of foot pegs on some of his vehicles because they want to sell more dollies to go along with the shelfies.
Look at this. Look at the side panels. They have all the slots for guns. I mean, that shit's also, again, just the amount of thought put into that.
Mm-hmm. This is a killer freaking vehicle, the Steel Wolf. This is one that I really would have loved. And then look at this. But
they were cooking back then, man.
Here's an example of the Steel Wolf in its colorways, and then there you see the missile launcher. Sure, it probably would have been spring loaded. You know, we got a lot of spring loaded stuff around that time.
Steven, there is an F-16 in the Lord scale. It's made by BBI or Merit, if you want to call them, but they are very expensive now.
Well, let's not forget the 1993 G.I. Joe Battle Corps X-16 Ghost Striker.
You take your little laser gun somewhere else, okay?
Hey, now, I'm just saying, Ace version 3 and that the best aircraft in the G.I. Joe line.
Green landing gear.
and the Night Force colored weapons.
Yeah. I remember seeing that when I was a kid too, when it was in the store, and I was like, God, I want that. Why can't I have that? And my dad was like, yeah, well, it's expensive. And now I'm like, you cheap son of a bitch. It was like $25.
But just shoot your eye out, kid. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Pi. It does have some similarities to the Aliens APC, especially like right here, where you have those like solid wheels with very minimal tread and the side doors. Yeah, absolutely. I heard Radnom is here. Is Radnom here? This chat's flying by. Oh, yeah, there he is. Radnom says, man, that whole thing would make a cool garage even look like a maintenance shack.
Yeah, it's like a little play set. It's got a little garage area. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's a fantastic vehicle for sure. What about this guy? This thing's freaking rad.
It's very obviously for Renegades.
Well, yeah, look right here.
Yeah. Well, based on the design, you can see the animated. And I know there was more vehicles, but this one was like the big kahuna of that.
Yeah. Yeah, because here's the Air Viper, and then there's the Renegades Cobra Trooper right there. That thing's pretty rad.
I think I'd buy it. Action features too, but I couldn't find the panel. I was hoping to find the panel video, but I never found it.
Yeah. Yeah, Will's got a great point. Back when they actually tried to make new stuff.
I wonder if Bobby would know about this stuff.
It's science, people! Science!
He might. I don't know.
Maybe we'll annoy him at DFW and be like, "Hey, what was all this stuff, man? Where's all this stuff at? Tell us. Tell us."
Well, he was just texting me like 10 minutes ago. I told him I was streaming, but he's not watching. Too busy making that money. All right. So, yep. I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of shit for this.
I specifically put it in there.
Yeah, it's group thing. It's fine. It just proves my point. But yeah.
So yeah, I think this is just the concept art that became the movie Hiss for, you know, the I don't remember which version of it is now.
Yeah, for Retaliation.
Yeah. I think that, but I was really trying to show also is the cool ass tank next to it.
This guy right here?
That thing. It's like a Bradley almost.
Yeah, it really looks like a freaking Bradley.
So where's that, Hasbro?
Dude, you want to talk about, like, there's a fucking tank right there. That's a tank. That thing looks like a Israeli Merkava 3 with like that Millennium Falcon looking turret. But this version of the Hiss is pretty cool. But yeah, I can see what you're talking about with the elevated platform and the guns on the sides. That really became that Retaliation Hiss for sure. Yeah, it's still rad looking, but that was a design for Rise of Cobra.
It looks like they pushed the Rise of Cobra and the Pursuit of Cobra tank together to make this obligation of a concept art piece, I assume, just for a panel at one of the Hasbro panels.
Yeah. No, I'd be all about that Bradley. I have a BBI Elite Bradley, but obviously they don't scale well with Joe stuff, right? It's massive. But I would get down with this version of the Hiss. I mean, obviously everybody knows that I'm a sucker for them. Actually, the Bradley isn't a tank either. No, it's an infantry fighting vehicle. That's a tank, not a tank, not a tank. No, yes. Okay, there we go. Mikey says, I'm going to kick you into the green room. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Cobra Emperor says, I sold most of my modern vehicles because I want to make more room for vintage and Delta 17 vehicles.
Yeah, give me that hint. I'm going to take that hint.
Yep. Also called a flying tank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, that's kind of Cobra Emperor. That's kind of the cool thing about collecting. You can do whatever you want, and it's cool. Like, yeah, whatever.
Oh boy. I've been trying to get people to pay attention to this, but this is from a line that was super hyped up towards the end of mainline 25th. This was SK Omega. And if I'm not mistaken, there was 3 people from the Joe team that were building this company. It was like Molten Monkey International or something like that was the name of the company they were under. But I want to say like at least 3 of the main designers from Joe were working on this brand at the time.
Right.
And this
is SK Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the line that I really wanted to talk about. And the 2 leading people, and again, right, there's that heavy lift, almost like the Cobra Aspid, which again, they recycled it because SK Omega was primarily Ron Rudat and Guy Cassaday. And this is Guy Cassaday all freaking day long, man. And you see all their little notes like, oh, well, this is diamond plating. This is diamond plating, blah, blah, blah. Like what goes here, what goes there. This line was going to be fucking fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up every now and again. Like you hear people talk about SK Omega. If you have never heard about it, I urge all of you to just Google SK Omega and read about it. There's a big Toy News article from 2012 where they talk about the upcoming SK Omega line. Yeah, Ron Rudat and Guy Cassaday and Molten Monkey International LLC was the name of the company. Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff, when everybody saw this, I think this was a bigger deal than the actual Joe line that was also at the same time being shown off. People wanted this stuff so bad. And even back then, getting information on it was very hard to get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the card stock was placeholder. Yeah, this was all just, it was to show what it was going to be. Yeah, Mikey knows all about SK Omega. There's a lot of chapped asses associated with this one. Yeah, absolutely. And like Man of Action said, this was supposed to come out. Yep. And then hints. I mean, not just Duarte, but this guy too. And toward the end of the show, we're gonna give you guys a little something. Obviously, this is heavily inspired as a 3D version of the Cobra Missile Command headquarters. I mean, you can see it. There's inspiration from that, but I'd fucking kill for this playset, man. I would have killed for this entire line. Yeah.
You got weapon positions, you got a command console, you got the rocket launcher. It's perfect.
Plus, you got this sweet little tactical scooter over here. It's got some Dr. Evil vibes or something going on. Yeah, this thing was money, man. Absolutely. All the, what's textured, what's polished, what's diamond plate, the rocket itself. Everything about SK Omega, like Mikey said, there's a lot of people who are sore about it, but man, I wish this line happened for sure.
And just wait for the next one.
Yeah, no, they're right in front of me. I can see them. Yeah. I'll talk. What's up, man? Radnam says Cobra Segway. Mother Slug says something about having Omega in the name, like Johnny Omega 13 guns. Yeah. What year was it supposed to be in? I guess that depends on who you ask. From what I recall, 2012 and then 2014 were like the last big pushes to make this line a reality. And then I don't remember hearing anything else about it. Mikey, you're in the chat. I don't know if I'm inaccurate. Just chuck it in the chat and I'll throw it up. But yeah, 2012 and then 2014. After that, it was pretty much nothing. Yeah. And it needs sharks with freaking lasers. Wolvie's like, hey, I found the article. Yeah, it's a great article. Read it. Tom, what's up, dude? I showed off your freaking awesome Gobots collector case gift. So again, thank you, my friend. I showed that off at the beginning of the stream. Next one, ready? Hurt feelings. And then here you see package art.
God, thing is so beautiful.
I know. And then look, there it is in the background, just teasing us again. The SK Omega HT7 Owl.
God, man, stuff we miss out on.
Packaging art done. Fantastic design, man. I mean, you can see all the inspiration, right? It's got some Sea Stallion to it. It's got some Hind to it. It's definitely got some Cobra Aspid to it as well, right? With all this going on here. The freaking skids that go with this. That's very, since we were talking about Sigma 6, right? That's very much like the Sigma 6 helicopter where you drop the crate and it opens up.
Oh, yeah. And this is like exactly, I can tell you right now, you already probably hear it in your head. When this thing was shown, the first thing out of everybody's mouth was, damn, what if that was painted in blue? And it was like, dude, you could crank those things out, man. People would buy every colorway of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vache says, oh, we really should have had this back in the day. I mean, look, fans are doing the best work. Independent companies are showing these two big toy corporations what is up. They're fucking lapping them all day, every day. Like this could come back. I mean, granted, like people own this stuff, but I would love to see this come back.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, Mikey says never tired of seeing the very Pursuit of Cobra style art for this line. This would have been so dope. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then George Aikens here all the way from the UK. Good to see you, George. Speaking of people who have their own layers, George Aiken has a lair. Yeah. But yeah, this is the sadly unproduced SK Omega HT7 Owl. Yeah, from Molten Monkey International. Anything Guy Cassaday and Ron Rudat, sure. Especially Guy Cassaday, right? I'm all about it. Yeah, Peter's saying they could do it in green, black, blue, red, whatever. Great, yeah. No.
Is it?
See, here's the argument. There is more 118 stuff now than there's ever been. Only one company is like, nah, we're not really going to do 118 as the primary line, right? Which is fine, because even when they were doing 118 Joe, they were still doing 1/6 scale Joe, right? The Hall of Heroes. But I mean, even Hasbro's still doing 118. Now, granted, it's sparingly with the Transformer crossover stuff, but there's more 118 shit now than ever before.
Well, technically, Star Wars Vintage Collection is 118, so it's very much still in the mainstream.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 Star Wars lines are 118 scales.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons. Oh, Dan wants it in Caterpillar yellow. What about Competition orange?
Eagle Warriors?
118 is, yeah. Brent, yeah, Joy Toy. There's so many companies we could just talk about that all day long. So yeah, we're not going to get sidetracked with that, but yeah. Planet Green Valley, very expensive, but that's 118. There's tons of 118. 118 is a sweet spot. Yeah. Oh, look at this. The guy from the UK wants it in
100%, man.
Red Shadows Red. Blood for the Baron.
Take it all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be more. I'm sure there's more 118 stuff coming out from newer companies too. So, it'll be a good time. Continuing to develop good time with that scale.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could just sit here and name it off. You could name a ton of 118 scale companies and then forget as many more. Yeah, there's a shit ton. So anyway, let's move on from this. Oh, wait, no, we can't do that. Anyway, do you have anything else for the HT7?
No.
Well, we can look at some of the figures. I like this packaging, man. Like that's a very unique package design where it's a window in the front where you see the figure would be, and he's kind of in this coffin with the card coming off to the side. And there you see like that figure is Blitz, right? Obviously he's got some mech stuff going on here for his gun attachments. Yeah, they had some really good ideas, man.
It's probably
Rook, Blitz, Ballistic, Fracture. What'd you say?
That's probably why they didn't get made, because they were too good. Too smart.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, man. Of action 118 is easy to get in on. Yeah. It's easier on space, easier on the wallet. Yeah. Easier to world build for sure. Mother Slug says toy companies really need to use today's technology and make the older O-rings with more detail. Yeah, you're starting to see that. You're also seeing lines like Strike Force, Alpha, Call Sign Longbow. They're taking like the traditional O-ring design, but they're adding more points of articulation to them. So yeah, for sure.
Not going back in time and giving it less articulation.
Yeah. What's up, Super 7? Yeah, the packaging art is freaking awesome, man. Definitely a very signature and unique line, but it's too bad we didn't get it. For sure. Man, we blazed through that shit. 54 minutes.
Well, so
now let's talk shit.
Well, let's end the 118th run here with some parting words. So,
yes.
As you're wondering, Well, what the hell happened, man? Why did all this stuff go away? Why did it stop? Well, that's a very complicated question, but it starts with one fairly specific point in time, which is at the kind of like the Rock and Pac era of G.I. Joe. Things were starting to slow down in other companies. Like, sales were dropping for like the True Heroes line, the 1/18th scale stuff like BBI. If you walked in Toys R Us, you had an F-18, an Apache, a Black Hawk, a Little Bird, a Kiowa. You
Yep.
had all these available to you, and after people got one or two, they didn't have space for anymore, so they would sit and go on clearance. Well, what happened was 21st Century Toys got huge. You could walk into Walmart and get either their own packaging, which would say 21st Century Toys, or you might see something that said Motorworks, which was Walmart saying, we want to get your stuff, but we want you to charge less for the same thing and put it in a different box. And they did that.
Because Walmart.
Yeah, because Walmart owned the thing, and they had a very special relationship with the buyer, and they were all set. And Walmart had just made one of the biggest purchasing agreements with 21st Century Toys they'd ever done before.
Yep.
So 21st Century just dumped a ton of their money into new molds, including like the ones we just talked about, into getting the stuff done. Well, so what happened was, and this is again third-party information coming from employees who no longer work for a company that doesn't exist, but unless somebody comes out and says otherwise, the reported thing that happened was the buyer left Walmart. A new buyer came in and said, we don't want to sell military-based toys. Real world military-based toys. Fantasy military, that's okay because G.I. Joe, but all these World War II, Vietnam planes, we don't want those anymore. We don't want any of the stuff that we were doing. And just like that, Walmart canceled all of the agreements they had, which basically bankrupted the company overnight. And that just set a chain of dominoes for all the companies. I know that BBI ended up selling some of the molds out of their way. Merit, who is still a company that exists but only does model kits now, they tried to jump in and do a couple of models, and by the time that it happened, the steam had kind of cooled down and people were no longer really interested in stuff. So most of the stuff that came out at that point just weren't selling. People weren't buying them. JSI came out with that F-14, which was a huge deal. I mean, I bought one and it was $300 back then. And if you tried to make that thing for $300 today, you'd never be able to do it. But the very first version of it had QC issues. The wheels broke. The paint was horrible. So when they tried to come out with a second one in a different colorway, nobody bought it. And it quickly went into clearance and JSI fled the coop. The last company to exist in that was Merit. Tried to keep going. They tried so hard. They did a couple of different planes. They did like they did a Harrier. They did, God, why can't I think of the name of that plane now? The Dauntless. They did a Dauntless from World War II. They redid the Huey, which was a 21st Century mold that got sold to someone else. That got sold to someone else and ended up with Merit.
Right.
And I think like the F-86 probably is still out there. They all went out and then that disappeared as well. However, the final word here is that if you want an actual physically done 1/18th scale jet, be ready to spend about $1,000 for a BBI now. Or if you want the Tomcat from JSI, it's probably going to cost you $3,000. Any of the stuff now is super expensive because nobody really bought it. So the ones that are still in the package are exceedingly rare. However, there is a way that you can get your hand on a couple models. And the first one is some of the molds that were owned by Merit got sold to a company called Hobby Boss. Hobby Boss does models, like regular kit models. Oops.
Joe.
So this is technically, quote unquote, a model kit, but this is a 118. This is the Merit Harrier.
Yeah, Brad had
AKG.
just said that when you were holding it up. Yep.
What?
Brad had just said it when you were holding it up.
Yeah, I'm going to show you here. I actually started to build it.
Oh, shit.
And this thing is a monster. But the reason I'm showing you this is because it's not a model kit like you would traditionally think of as a model kit. This is the toy. They just sell it to you, not put together. This has spring-loaded articulating gears. I mean, it is the full shebang. You got working ailerons. You got the brake that comes down. So if you're handy with the model kit, you can actually have a 118. You can have a Huey, or you can have this Harrier, or a couple other ones. You just have to build them.
And that thing has the same freaking hard points for the armament, again, that click and play F-18 does. The exact same hard points. I freaking love it.
These are pegged. So you can swap out. I
just mean at the base of it. The hard point itself, not the arm, but the hard point.
No, it's all pegged in. Everything's pegged in on this one. This doesn't have the slide. None of the ones on this one slide.
Put Chris Redfield in it?
I got to put an Arnold in it, man, so we can go get Dana.
Yeah. He's got to get Dana. Dude, that thing is impressive.
Oh, dude,
really freaking impressive.
It makes me want the physically done one already, but I don't want to spend $1,000 right now, so maybe someday.
So that is the toy. They just sell it as a model. You build it yourself. It's just gray.
You build it with. I mean, it's not for the weak-hearted. It's not a plastic traditional model kit. And if you want to be humbled, if you want to be truly humbled, and you think that like toy manufacturing could come to America, or you could make one of those things today and sell it for a decent price, build one of those kits, because you will quickly be like, F this. There's no way, dude. There is like the articulating parts for that are so intricate and tiny, and like you little trying to do that stuff. Dude, I would never wish that on my worst enemy to build those for like daily. Imagine having to build like 400 of those things in a week. No thanks.
That's crazy. Does it have water slides? Does it have stickers?
Oh, nothing? Yeah, water slide decals.
Okay, so it's water slides like most models?
Yeah. You can choose between two different, you can either do black aces, or you can just do a regular typical Marines Harrier. But you know, Harrier and the Warthog to me are like the two most, even though they're both kind of like retired, they're still like two of the best planes that came out of accidental needs, you know, like nobody came out of that saying we need a VTOL, or it was like, well, if we want close support, we need to build a hover, and you end up with two planes that absolutely just ruled the skies.
Yeah, but you got to pick up all the pebbles wherever it's going to land. Man of Action, it's Hobby Boss.
Yeah, and they're fairly cheap. That kit is $120.
And so look at the size of that friggin' vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will fit. It will fit a little Joe in the cockpit.
Little Joe.
You don't put the eject puller on there, because, you know, Joe thighs don't, you know.
Yeah.
But they will fit a figure. So it is true. It is essentially a toy. It is not a model kit. It's just you have to assemble it, and it sucks to assemble.
Ken's Toys is asking for clarification. I thought 21st Century, aka Motorworks, went to Toys R Us after the Walmart shit.
They might have. Once they got clearanced out and cleared out, I'm sure Toys R Us bought up whatever they could that was cheap.
Well, even Joe went to Toys R Us. Joe became a Toys R Us exclusive for a while. Yeah.
They did sell 21st Century a lot, though. I mean, they had the who was it? The something's Marauders. It was a World War II set that was like a half track and a Jeep and like all the squad guys from Merrill's Marauders, or I don't know. It was one of the sets that they had. That they had a lot of 21st Century stuff back then. The whole aisle with G.I. Joe was full of G.I. Joe and 21st Century stuff.
Gotcha. Man of Action put up this comment. I started to come back around to it. G.I. Joe leadership lost their way, then added in that crazy bitch that took over Hasbro's leadership, and then they wanted to kill Joe. Are you talking about Ginger Kent, the executive that came from... Fuck, where did she come from? It was like some food company or something. Johnson and Johnson. I don't remember, but I just... Yeah, Ginger Kent was the executive that got in Alan Hassenfeld's ear to kill a real American hero and Sergeant Savage in '94 and send Joe over to the Cincinnati people that they acquired with Kenner. And that's when we got G.I. Joe Extreme. But, I mean, Joe always gets killed, right? Isn't that just the cycle? Like, Joe's doing great, Joe gets killed.
A brilliant idea.
What?
When they kill it in '94. And then it ends in '95, and then just only 2 years later is completely relaunched again, and then goes from then until like 2018.
That sounds made up. Is it made up?
97, 98, man. They came out with the TRU specials, and then we had Joe versus.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they just came right back with the same old shit. Yeah, it's a for a minute they had to call the Baroness the chameleon, etc., etc. Yeah. The whole thing was an exercise in futility. It was just a waste of fucking money and molds and everything. All of it. It was stupid. But again, this, right, and the whole conversation, Hasbro, I hate to say it, but as a lifelong Joe fan, I can. They're G.I. Joe's worst enemy. Not even Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. It's Hasbro. They're Joe's worst enemy. Name it. They've killed everything. 93 was Joe's second biggest year in the history of the IP. They already had the 95 Battle Corps Ranger shit ready to go. They had to reuse some of it for Savage. We got the Iron Panther tank. But yeah,
you're talking to a kid who was an 87 to 93 kid. So everybody that shits on Star Brigade and Eco Wars and all that, dude, to me as a kid, those were badass toys.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the people who really love Tiger Force and Python Patrol, because that was the only way that they were going to get the Rattler, the Conquest, those kinds of vehicles, because they weren't around in the early 80s. So that's the first time they saw those vehicles. So you see a lot of people, they love the Tiger Rat. That's fine.
Think about us kids in the early 90s. All we got were the little catalogs, and we're like, oh man, how do I get those first ones? Oh, sorry, you can't.
Yeah. Viper Scouts on break at work just wanted to say, hey, Replay Squad. Well, thanks for being here, my friend. Thanks for popping in. And Replay Squad is always appreciated. Make sure you go out and buy your Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap. I don't know why I'm on that kick, but Cooter's here. What's up, Cooter? Says right on, SOOKA. Right on, SOOKA. Oh, you know what that needs? That needs okay. Don't throw up in your mouth. Ready? Go.
Ay, mira.
Oh man, it never gets old.
No, it doesn't. Tristan says, yeah, it's atrocious how Hasbro treats G.I. Joe, their flagship brand that made them relevant. Yeah, I mean, Hungry Hippos, which was Stephen Hassenfeld's one, knock it out of the park idea to keep them from going under in 78. And then it was all full tilt on Operation Blastoff and Joe. Oh, Dan didn't like it.
What? Why doesn't Hasbro just dump like a bunch of skins into Fortnite for G.I. Joe and then try to get those kids into it? I don't understand why they haven't done that yet. They're doing it for freaking Star Wars. So do it for Joe, man. Get those kids over to here and stop making retro everything and give us something like up to date.
But again, you see a lot of these companies, they just see everything as a tie-in, because right now the new Fortnite season that just started is all about Superman, because James Gunn presents James Gunn's Superman made by James fucking Gunn. Just so you know. Right, so that Superman's in there. They got more DC characters and things like that. But yeah, they just did a Star Wars season because May. But they just want to treat it like tie-ins. We saw the Snake Eyes skin when the Snake Eyes movie was coming out. We saw how that went down. But dude, I play Fortnite. I would love to run around there as the Baroness or Destro. I mean, Fortnite had their Havoc skin, so I think Firefly would probably be out. But how rad would it be to run around as Storm Shadow? And yeah, you could easily do that.
And then, dude, pack a QR code in the box to unlock a freaking weapon or something that ties into the line. Then you're forcing them to buy a figure
or a digital fucking comic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Jedi Ben says they pretend it won't sell to the Utes. What's a Ute? Yeah.
Hey, as much as people give shit to Disney about like movies and stuff, I gotta say that new Predator Killer of Killers, that shit is badass. That is one way to get people back into a franchise, is put something out that is just good. Like, it's probably the best Predator since Predator. I mean, it goes to the heart of the story and gives you background into the Utah or whatever they're called, the Utah or
Utah. Yeah.
Utah.
I believe that's how it's pronounced. But yeah, the ma'am told me, hey, you should watch that new Predator, the animated. And I was like, okay. And then right after the ma'am said that, Ryan said it, you said it, like a bunch of other people were like, that fucking shit is awesome. Machine Man and Cliff, yes, there was Snake Eyes in Fortnite. Then they made a classified colorway of the Fortnite Snake Eyes, which was a tie-in to the movie that fucking sucked. Yeah.
That figure was garbage too. I didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. Yeah.
I just saw it and I was like, oh, garbage.
There he is. Predator Killer of Killers is my favorite. Wow.
He's the reason I watched it, because he's like, dude, this movie's great. And usually if Ryan says something's good, that's usually true, because he doesn't usually tell you like anything's good. So when it is good, I kind of trust him.
Yeah, that is true, Matthew. They did do a Snake Eyes Batman crossover.
Matt, don't give Lorenzo more ideas.
Spoiler alert, their fight was a stalemate. Yeah. Which is the way to do it, right? That's the way to do it. You got to stalemate that shit. So Shane from Same Time Toys says, Storm Shadow with a lightsaber and Roadblock with that jackhammer. I'm all in for Fortnite. I'm just saying, I would run around as Destro. Fuck yeah, all day.
It's
low light. Low light's my boy.
Why don't they do it?
I don't know. So stupid. I need to check it out. What channel or streaming service? What's it on? That Predator. Hulu. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Disney bought 20th Century.
Every Predator is on Hulu now. So.
Gotcha.
I think it's the way storytelling should be done with that. You have multiple characters' experience and multiple different timelines that give you a backstory on the Predators without making it cheesy or off the charts or something weird. It's just straight up like little miniature movies of characters dealing with predators. And
is it kind of like the Animatrix?
I never watched that.
Well, the Animatrix was like an animated Matrix tie-in, and it kind of like bridged between the first movie and the second movie. And it was all a bunch of like little mini stories.
This doesn't bridge anything. It's completely detached from anything before it. It's just that the way that humans interacted with predators over the course of human time. So
okay,
it's kind of like, you know how everybody says, why don't they make a World War II movie where like Predator shows up at like Normandy or something? That's kind of like the expectation that you should have going into these. It's like their own little mini stories in the universe, and it doesn't affect any preconceived notions you have. So it doesn't ruin anything. It doesn't change anything. It's just kind of perfectly done and isolated.
All right.
And it's very violent. It's very violent. I love it. Lots of blood.
Can't go wrong with that. Hey,
No.
so since we were talking about classified and Snake Eyes and Fortnite and Italian and all this stuff, I got something that I kind of want to touch on a little bit.
Okay.
It's like the one of the little Joe community things of the week. So yeah. Ready? Okay.
Let's go.
Yo, asshole! You look like you bumped your head or something. An imbecile. Ain't no Chris Angel mind freak, David Blaine, trapdoor horse shit jumping off here.
All right. So thank you to our good friend, the Sarge. I want to talk about this. So I'm sure you saw this meme going around, right? Yeah. So obviously this is Valiver's Senshi, right? But as soon as Hasbro announces frickin' Budo, everybody, that conforms to this tribalism bullshit, now they're throwing up this meme. I don't need this figure anymore. I'm just going to toss it out because I'm going to get this figure. What are your thoughts on all that? Because, obviously mine are probably obvious.
It's tribalism because they're two different characters. They have no relationship to each other. If you want to claim that having somebody who's based in samurai or whatever in a military line, it's such a stupid thing. Like, I get it. They wanted
because Japan had one samurai.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I get it. If you're tribalistic, you always want to take a pop shot to get the clicks or whatever. But in reality, one was at the market first and people bought it. And so if you're telling me that because this other one comes out, you don't care about the one you already bought, that says more about you and your wastefulness and the consumption that you have of things, that you think that they're the same thing and they should be treated differently. Whereas for me, I bought Senshi because he looked cool. I would buy Budo because he's cool looking, but he's also a deluxe and comes with a bunch of extra shit I don't really care about. And so I'm not like in a rush to get it. I'm not pre-ordering it. Well, I'm not really pre-ordering much of anything, but I'm not like losing my shit over it and being like, Budo, oh my God, I love Budo. I didn't have Budo as a kid. And even when I saw him as a kid, I was like, neat. And then I moved on. Like,
yeah, I didn't have him either.
Not worth a tussle of division because of
this. So you put it perfectly. Thank you, my friend, for the way you said that. This says more about you, right? As someone who's going to, share this and amplify that bullshit, because that's that bullshit, than it does about either of these lines. And I got to give a huge shout out to Nikki Nicole Customs. Not only is she an awesome person, she's a phenomenal fucking customizer. She does killer work all the way around, but her and I had a long discussion about this. And this is that shit. We saw it with the Steel Brigade and the Steel Corps. We see it over and over. Like, I don't understand this whole tribalistic, like, oh, well, if it's not Hasbro, it's fucking garbage. Like, I don't get that. There's a lot of stuff that Hasbro won't do. Like in the members pregame, we were discussing Gridiron. Like it or not, Gridiron makes stuff that Hasbro won't make. Am I going to buy it? No. If it was 1/18 scale, would I? I would be sorely fucking tempted to buy some of that stuff. However, the point is why isn't Hachi Man on there? Right? From the fucking Thundercats. Why isn't Hachi Man on there? When did he come out? Did he come out before Budo? I bet you he fucking did. I'm sure somebody in the chat will tell us when Hachi Man came out.
I'm sure.
But I don't see a Hachi Man on there. Why is it just like Valiverse versus Hasbro versus Valiverse? Like, that's why this is the fucking imbecile thing of the week, because this is fucking dumb. It's dumb. We just spent an hour talking about BBI Elite, SK Omega that never came out, right? All this other cool shit that was 1/18 scale. Nobody in the chat was like, well, it's not Hasbro, so it's garbage.
Mhm.
Why is that the current day attitude? Now, granted, it's not everyone's attitude. Ken's Toy said Hachi Man came out in 83. That can't be right. No.
I think some of it has to do with clickbait to get people to come to channels or whatever, but I think people misunderstand value and like what value is to one person, because like value is like time, it's relative to the person observing it. And in this case, the value is one character more valuable to you than the other? And if it's not, great. That's when you say this really awesome phrase that I hope everybody practices at home for when they go to conventions, and they say, buy what you like, or that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're happy with what you purchased. But to immediately like try to call people out and say like the thing that you bought, it's stupid and you're stupid for buying it, it's so divisive, and already like an area of things where we have enough divisiveness between us.
Yeah.
Toys shouldn't be one of them. So like if you're mad that Bobby speaks his opinion on his own fucking streams, and then you come back and you're like, well, I hate Valaverse now, I'm not gonna, great, don't buy it. But don't like turn it into this like divisive network of like Classified versus Action Force, because you know what? Both lines have their great shits about them, and both lines sometimes have problems, but you can enjoy them at the same time. You don't have to always turn it into a battle about personalities or whatever the hell the reason is for, like buy what you like. And if you buy something and the quality is not where you like it, tell somebody about it, talk about the problem, and move on. But, just remember that what you think is worth money to you may not be what somebody thinks to them. And so tearing people apart by using it defensively, we're only making the community worse and worse by the week, to where you just don't even want to interact with people.
Yeah. I think that, and again, like this isn't so much about Senshi versus Budo, right? Or Steel Brigade versus Steel Corps, who, stole the name, which is fucking bullshit, because you can't steal from Hasbro. Like there are millions of examples you cannot steal from Hasbro. Just be happy the guy didn't fucking buy Serpentor and Flint, right? Count your blessings. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about the fact that like this is almost the norm, this kind of attitude, right? And again, yes, it's tribalism. It is for clicks, because everything in social media, sadly, is about that bloodbath. Like everybody loves drama. Drama equals engagement, right? It's the throughput. I've talked about it numerous times before, but this is that bullshit. And everybody said in the chat, Hachi Man came out for Thundercats 1985. Anytime somebody makes this argument, be like, well, fucking Hachi Man beat them both. So they all copied Hachi Man. They all copied LJN and the fucking Thundercats, which is bullshit. I mean, samurai are well known throughout history. It's not, I mean, yeah, Tom Cruise made a fucking awesome movie about samurai.
I mean, in the world of art, everything is an imitation of everything. I mean, somewhere somebody did something that looks like something else. So you can keep chasing that rabbit all the way back to its hole.
My car rants, which, depending on who you talk to, some love them, some think they're stupid. I stole that idea.
No.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I didn't steal the car rant, but I stole the car video, if you know what I'm talking about, right? I stole that shit from Geeks and Gamers, straight up.
I thought you were going to tell me that nobody's ever yelled in a car before.
Everyone yells in their car. That's the point. That's the whole point of the car rant. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with something being a tribute to something else.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all, right? We just talked about SK Omega. We all just gushed on SK Omega and the prospect of what could have been those are two former Joe designers leaning heavily on designs from fucking G.I. Joe, either in comic or in toy form. Who didn't want that line? I don't know anyone who was into 118 stuff that was like, I don't want that shit.
Dude,
That's not Hasbro. I don't want it.
Here's the ultimate irony of this whole thing, right? You're getting mad about two characters who are basically the same looking type of character from a line that has been ripping off the same designs for 40 years. And that's mostly what they do. And you're going to say that because that one looks kind of like the other one, that suddenly now imitation is like not funny or whatever. Like your whole line is based off imitation from 1980s. Relax.
Your whole line.
That's that bullshit.
That's that bullshit. Oh, let me get it for you, son. Man, that was late.
That's that bullshit. That's that bullshit right there.
Oh, that was so late.
Awkward.
Just checking in. Have you drank water today? Did you eat? Did you take your meds?
I did all of the above, yeah. I did. I was a good boy. I ate this morning before I started all my tasks. I ate, yeah. Let's get over to the chitty chat real quick. Nick Karst is asking, who does the size of the figure proportion for G.I. Joe 118? Valor versus Venom and those type O-rings, smaller upper body, micro head.
Man, that shit's all over the place, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Nick, if you're still here, which I hope you are, could you expand on that? I would like to answer that question. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to leave this here for a second. Don't get it.
I won't open its mouth, okay? I won't open its mouth.
Look
it's right there.
Don't go get it. Don't do it. No. Hey, is that HasLab 118 scale Sky Striker?
It is, and if you notice, the tail fin is not from the Sky Striker.
Oh, look at that.
Little...
Is it
and everything, man. It was
Toy Hacks?
Yeah, Toy Hacks back in the day when they had the whole.
That's what I did with one of my click and play F-18s. I made Maverick's fighter from Top Gun 2.
That's awesome. I love those.
Way
I
to
wish
do
they
it.
continued those sticker sets.
Toy Hacks makes awesome stuff. Our good friend Justin Booth sends a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you for also being an awesome Chad hole. And says, I bought Senshi because he looks cool.
That's the whole point. It's cool.
You know what? I need some fucking Fred Sanford. I'm coming, Elizabeth. Right? He comes with a lot of accessories. Yeah, he does. And he's not, deluxe figure prices. And because he looks like something straight from an 80s action film.
He's got hands, lots of hands too. So you can always have something
got
going
hands.
on. Yeah.
Justin, thank you for the voice of reason and the $5 super chat. I can't believe how toxic you are.
You know who's even more badass than Senshi? The Black Senshi. BBTS exclusive.
The fucking Night Ops Senshi to go with that Night Ops Steel Brigade. That Night Ops Steel Brigade is fire, dude.
It'd be really cool if we did another one in different night schemes, Just saying. That'd be cool.
What?
Huh?
What?
Oh.
We're not talking about anything.
No.
Nothing. We're not talking about anything. Not allowed. And our good friend, Abby from Figure Fight Club, gifted 10 friggin' channel memberships. 10. Thank you, Abby. Okay, here we go. Oh. I need the Jeopardy music for you. What do you got? What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, it was. There we go.
Oh, that's for Abby. And then
thanks, Abby.
This too. Thank you, Abby, very much. Channel memberships really help channels. I know Abby understands that, and you're the man, so contractually obligated to give you this shit, my man.
Wolverines! Hell yeah!
Hell yeah. Thank you, my friend, for the 10 gifted channel memberships, and for all you new channel members. Yeah. It's good to see you. And you can go check out some awesome channel member content. Let's get back to the regular chat.
Actually,
I don't have any of that music. George Aiken, why have I got 75 XP? Oh, is that on there?
yeah, that shit's on there now.
Is it on there?
Yeah.
Well, so this is some kind of like I think Abby could probably explain it a little better. It's some kind of
Engagement
leaderboard
farming?
thing. I want to no. It's like a leaderboard thing. They
Yeah,
sent out an email to a bunch of YouTube creators. It's like a thing that they're trying out, leaderboards, but they're only sending it to so many creators. I actually don't. Right. So a little behind the scenes. I'm running the stream on my iPad so I could see who wins gifted channel memberships. I don't see it. So not bad.
Yeah, it's on
Not bad.
mobile. You can see them on mobile, but it just changes based upon how many times you send a message.
Yeah, it's like based on comments or super chats, gifted subs, I guess it's kind of one of those things. I don't know. I didn't apply for it. I guess they just threw it into certain people's shit. Why do you not have any Megaforce clips? There was a time where I did a stream talking about Megaforce. It was all about Megaforce, and I showed some of the end battle where they punched through Guerrera's armor, and they shut my stream down. So I'm not doing that.
That's my favorite kind of sandwich.
They're only sending it to the LGBTQ channels.
What the fuck did I just hear?
It's funny because I was drinking out of this in the pregame. Yeah, I sure was. That was
An
happening.
animal print. Don't be so
That's okay.
sensitive, Chad.
I don't mind. It's okay. I'm totally with it. Nick says 118 proportions are all over the place. Who is in charge of sizes of body parts and how are they measured out? Valor versus Venom, pardon me, is great quality, but their upper bodies are tiny. Well, that was just the aesthetic of Valor versus Venom. It was intentional. I understand that, like, anatomically it looks like shit, which is my beef with 1/12 scale stuff, but it was like an artistic choice. I know I have one Valor versus Venom figure, and it's a Baroness that I got for the ma'am, and it's still sealed in a baggie, and yes, anatomically they look like shit. Thanks, Ryan. I love you so much. Thank you.
Mira.
Freaking jerk. Make your own Night Op Steel Brigade with Rit die and any Steel Brigade figure. There's that. Yeah. But the figure itself is cool. I like it.
The Con Steel Brigade is like the greatest figure so far. Period.
Yeah. I'm going to remove that from the stream for a minute. So, I heard you've been working on some stuff, my friend. We're about an hour and a half in. Let's get down to it. You have some stuff to show everyone, and then we got kind of a bomb to drop.
So I'm gonna show off something.
That's great. Okay, so for everyone, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
For all the people that are showing up because of what I posted on Instagram, I'm gonna show that really quick. Get out of the way. So the this is the HMS new one. This is the one I did because the MMS was coming out, and it's as you can see, it's large.
Holy
Girthy,
shit!
large.
You froze,
Me?
dude. Yeah, for a second. That thing is freaking amazing.
It's huge. It's like 3 times the size of the original one I did. But yeah, this is going to be the next big one. Right now, I'm still working on the hoping to have a whole bunch of those Vanguard and Dragonfly missiles that I showed off there. Which, if I would have been smart, I would have had those available to me. Actually, technically, the Dragonfly up there has got them on there while I was doing the test fits and all that stuff, and then the Vanguard right there you can see. So,
dude, put that shit up again. These people are going fucking nuts over that. Let me see that again. David sends a $10 super chat and says, missiles fired. Thank you, David, very much. Thank you for being a channel member. And fucking A, look at this thing, man.
it's pretty like,
dude, your smoke is in the wrong direction. What'd
know,
you do?
man, it's supposed to be up here. And the fire's all the way down here.
Dude, that is fucking perfect.
And it's
that is stupid. Impossible Pie wants to know, how do you light that up?
There's a light right here, and this just pops off. So there's an adapter. Everything is just works with an adapter, and then you turn it and it turns the light off. So you can have it without any light on, and it still is just painted so that way, you know, on your shelf without the light on, it just looks normal. So,
dude, look at this comment. Look at this comment.
Yeah, so that's this thing's so big, man, that I have to print it diagonally because it's bigger than my machine surface. So this is like a 15-hour job. It is.
That's fucking amazing.
But yeah, it's that's kind of just happens to be at the right time that I was already planning on doing this, and then they announced the MMS.
Well, that's perfect timing. I got a little something for our good friend Vishay Conley. Not only a channel member, one of my mods, but also the very first guy to come up to me at any con and talk to me about my YouTube channel. But since we're talking about meat missiles, there's your meat missile right there, baby.
It's old.
Dude, so Joel wants to know, what printer are you running? And is that an FDM print? That's what Radnom's asking.
Yeah, you would never be able to do. If you did a resin that size, you would probably want to jump out of a window. But
you'd probably die from the fumes.
Yeah, I mean, resin is such a pain in the ass. Like, here, let me grab one thing.
Okay, bye. There he goes. It's just me.
So this was one I showed that was kind of like a tease. And again, this was me just playing around with stuff. I don't really have any intention of doing anything with this. But
still cool.
This right here, the main body is FDM. And you can see it's articulated. And then these cannons are made out of resin. And they have magnets. So it just clips
magnets. Way to go.
And so like this stuff right here, this part is easy. This shit sucks because you can't really see it because the camera sucks. But because I was in a hurry and I used an air dryer, this thing, like the cannon ends bent in slightly. And so they're essentially ruined as a print because I was rushing. And it's just such a pain in the ass. That's why I don't do much resin work outside of effects, because a sculpted effect is easy to print out. It just is the time it takes to make the sculpt and then make it fit on something and test the fitment. And resin is obviously poisonous. The fumes are horrible for you.
Yep.
And it's just like you got to use either water or alcohol to clean it, and then you got to cure it and all this shit. I don't usually mess around with it.
Yeah, it's very labor intensive.
Yeah.
White Vegeta, I'm impressed with how well it's holding up itself by its own weight.
It only really sits up all the way up. The missile itself is the reason why it collapses, because the missile's made out of like thick dildo material. You know, it's like slightly bendable, but not really.
That's what she said.
Nailed that. I nailed that one. I got it. Perfect time.
Yeah, it's about time.
God damn it. My God. Zakanan wants to know, can we order these yet? Huh? How about now?
Not yet. Like I said, I'm trying to get a whole bunch of the Vanguard ones done by the time DFW starts, because I'm gonna be giving a pair of those to a certain individual who will be going to that show.
Oh, you're a fucking show.
Gifting a set of them.
Show.
Out of a respect for what was built that allowed me to make those. But
yeah, that's right.
That I'm currently making like an armada of those to be able to start painting them, and then there will be a bunch of them available probably around that time. Maybe not when I go, because then they wouldn't ship, but like, you know, when I get back, they might go up then, or maybe early if I get them done fast enough. But those will definitely come out first, and then probably a very small run of these HMS ones, because they're just big, man, and those prints take so long, and if it screws up, you're just out in the middle of a print for no reason. So it's definitely a trickier one.
That's awesome. So a couple other things we got to get to, because as soon as you held that up, man, the chat went fucking ape shit. I'm going to apologize to you and everyone else in the chat, because I'm having one of my moments. I can't remember if I read this yet or not. It just happens, right? So Zaymot Rogue sends a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Zaymot Rogue, for the super chat, for your channel membership, and says, that's straight up badass.
Thank you, Zaymot.
Did I read that yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, Zaymot Rogue, for that super chat. And yes, that thing's amazing, man. Like, I had seen it, like you had sent me pictures like, oh yeah, I'm going to work on this, but to actually see it is amazing, man. Our good friend Woody wants to know, does it only fit on the top missile?
You know, that's a damn good question, Woody. Let's find out together right now.
Hal, what's up, dude?
What's up, Hal? All right.
All right, here we go.
Hey, look at Will.
Will the top missile fit on with that smoke, which again, by the way, I'm sorry, is in the wrong direction?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not working. It's only going to be on the top. But, and this is a big but, because it's still a work in progress, there might be a secondary piece, just like the original offering, that is going to be the actual fire tail on one of the other ones, so it looks like it's sequentially firing off. But that one, again, is in work, as this is not like completely done yet. I just wanted to give an exclusive to the Mr. Chad here.
So like a fire 1, fire 2 kind of effect?
Yeah.
That's
just
awesome.
Just like a fire trail coming out the back one, like it's igniting and about to fly off, and hopefully light it if I can manage it.
Just, make sure you put the smoke on the right side, okay?
Dude, how lazy can they be? They don't even bother to change that after like the 6th time they've done it.
No. After everybody said, like, the smoke's on the wrong side, the smoke's on the wrong side. Like, if you don't know the chemical reaction that actually ignites rocketry, like, yeah. And people went after them about it, and they're like, yeah, fuck it, just reuse it. Real quick, Hal, Ted from Hella Dope, thank you for being here, guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Damn, Hal, what's up with that?
Oh, he's always.
Geez, Louise, we're gonna get canceled here. There's some big bombs in the Hal Jordan chat.
Anyway. Yeah.
I think I know what they did though. If you ever look at like pictures of the rockets that are in rocket tubes, like, you know, like the really shitty looking ones that you'd find in like Russia or something, where like you see those launch out and it's mainly smoke behind them because they're getting shot out first and then igniting later. I think that's what whoever did those, I think they saw that and were like, oh yeah, that's all rockets. That's all they'll do that.
Like the igniter motor, like that's kind of what you're talking
like
about, where it releases from the tube and then fires.
Yeah, I think the guy saw that reference and was like, oh, that's every rocket ever.
Well, our good friend Yojo Jerk is here. It's good to see you, Jerky. Thanks for being here.
The barcode.
Legal shit. Zakanan wants to know, can you adapt that missile to come out of the mouth of a dinosaur?
The colossal.
Also known as the vaginosaur. Can you do that?
I'm going to have to find out.
Fuck around and find out.
Doesn't stuff come out of the back of that too? Because that would be a little bit of a fun video.
Yeah, that would be cool. Zaymot Rogue says, at some point I'll grow a pair and drop the cash for the heat seek they made for the modern Joe line. Can't bring myself to spend $100 for one right now.
Yeah, the MMS is 80. I don't remember the HMS being that much, but I also don't remember a lot of things. So, oh.
Yep. Yeah, and Matthew is absolutely correct. Those blast effects were made for scrap iron and a grenade launcher. Yeah, that's why they never turned them around. Yeah. Yeah. Really, all it was turn it around, put the peg on the right. But yeah.
Every time I put that thing in the scrap iron drone, it's like.
Hey, Hustle wants to know, what about some vamp effects?
There is some. There's lots of them.
SOOKA has effects for all sorts of stuff. Do you have a 1980s Real American Hero tactical battle platform? Well, I know a guy who makes blast effects for the tactical battle platform. He sent me a set.
Slowly building that up.
War Chest, full of toys. What's up? Says, say the magical word vaginosaur and War Chest will appear. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Fantastic. Hendo's got to run. Thanks for being here, buddy. What else you got? I know you got some more.
Well, we got our big one left.
Oh, that's it? We're down to the big one?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
All right.
Do you want to intro this? How do you want to do this? We didn't talk about this before.
No, plans are for people with, motivations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
just go right into it.
I guess we
Thank you, Vishay, for posting the link, my friend.
Thank you, Vishay. Appreciate that. I guess we can say is Chad came to me and said, do you think we could do this? And I thought,
I sure did.
Maybe. I thought, seems ambitious for me because I'm not normally a large printer of types. I've done vehicles, but I stopped them very quickly because, if you go print a vamp and it takes you like 45 hours worth of printing materials and then they come out and make one and you can buy for like $60, why would you continue making 3D printed Joe vehicles when they're just going to make those vehicles? So I stopped. I didn't make big projects anymore. I just kind of did small stuff. So I kind of took it as a challenge. And the thing about me, I understand Chad's love for G.I. Joe. And so you can't just say, oh, you just got to 3D print this thing and it's over. No, you have to look at the playability factor, how to make it look more like a traditional G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero toy, what maybe those guys would have thought when they were making it. Now, granted, the only thing I had to go off on this is a single concept photo.
One image.
With no information about what everything was supposed to be. We just kind of took obvious things and said, this is obviously what they were trying to do. This is what obviously this was and that was and all things. So I kind of took some time and started making plans and drawing up scales and trying to figure out what's a good scale for it to match with the figures and all this crap. And that was like, God, I want to say that was maybe like 6 months ago. And so it had just been a process of testing fitments and joints and things like that, because obviously FDM, you're very, it's very tricky because joints wear on FDM very quickly. It's not a
Yep.
FDM.
And this
is
thing has
terrible.
joints.
It's a
for
terrible thing. Like
Yeah.
it's hard for me to understand why people spend so much money on FDM printed vehicles and stuff, because any moisture and heat with FDM is really bad. It's bad news. But in this case, it was just spending the time to work through the kinks of all the stuff. So this is what I came up with. This is just 1/3 of the entirety. And I don't know if you want to put up the picture yet of what we're talking about, but
Yeah.
go ahead and put it up.
Yeah.
The
So,
March.
Volume 15, Dan Klingensmith's Creating G.I. Joe. Volumes 14 and 15 are all unproduced toys. Figures, vehicles, playsets, the works, all of it. Now, I believe Mikey from JMK Custom Works and Jay Bartlett and I did an episode where we were talking about Unproduced Joe stuff, and we talked about the March. We talked about the March at length. And then at one point, SOOKA and I started talking about, unproduced shit and how this is cool. And this episode that SOOKA and I are doing, we talked about this for what, like a year? Like doing this for like a year? And I just snapped this photo and I sent it to SOOKA and I said, you know what? You could make this. I know you can make this. Like, you have the skill, you have the creativity. Obviously everyone knows I'm working with someone else to do Guy Cassiday's unproduced, Cobra Island playset, which is a monster. But this whole, idea is what gave me the confidence to approach Cobra Island with somebody else. But SOOKA was the first person that I approached about, hey, let's no shit make an unproduced G.I. Joe playset. And it's a smaller playset. It's 3 Connexes. This is on page 39 of volume 15. So if you have Dan's books, by all means, go check it out. I just took a photo of the page because, we're freaking shade tree mechanics like that. But the Mobile Armed Repair Center Heavy, the March. And there it is. It's 3 separate Connexes. It's got some legs on it. So like SOOKA said, we only have one image to go off of, but you can glean some things from it. This is obviously the gun from the tactical battle platform. You've got a crane here. This Connex is a vehicle bay. The top opens, the front opens. This one over here, the side, the top, and the front open. SOOKA and I had a lot of conversations about where's the top of this go? Does it go on to this one? Because you can see the tops are just gone. Do they fold? Do they remove? Like, we had numerous conversations about this. Take it away. Go from there.
So, again, this is all interpretation, but I did the very first Connex as the test for it. So this is the first Connex. Obviously, this one's the first one in the picture going like that. And then there's a middle one here. And then the third one over here. And so this one is pretty much modeled after it. What I did on this is I made everything magnetized. So the roof is just magnetized. So it just claps on. Take the roof off. You've got magnet doors that open.
Oh, shit, dude. You even put the jet engine in there.
Yeah. I was like, I got to do the engine holder. And then, of course, the big door on the side, whole thing opens.
Oh, man, you killed it.
And so, yeah, everything's in there. And then there's a couple of pieces that obviously...
hold that up again compared to this photo.
You see if
like,
I can
open that side
without them falling off.
There it is. Shit, man. You killed it. You freaking killed it with that.
I'm honestly surprised the doors work as well as they do. Because
I love them.
Again, this is all FDM and then just the click.
Dude, and again, to stress, this is the first time I've seen that Connex.
Yeah,
Like,
he
you
wouldn't look
told
at
me
it.
that you had the test print done, but I had never seen it before. And obviously that's this one.
Yeah, and I
Right here.
have the little piece that has the wrench. That's another piece that's magnetized to click in. So you could remove it if you wanted to put something bigger in there, but
Right.
that's what. And then this, of course, the second one, I, the second one is going to be easier to do because that one we can kind of do whatever we want because we don't know what's inside it. We only
Nope.
know what's on top of it. We
Yeah.
got a crane and we got a gun from the tactical battle platform. Everything else is whatever we decide to want to do with it. And
Right.
then the third one is basically just a 3-sided stable one with a front door that's got a place for a truck. The only thing I was trying to think of, and maybe people in the chat can help us with moving this forward with it, is would the roof on the last one for the vehicle bay flip over to turn into the flatbed on that little vehicle? That's my question. Is that what they were trying to do with, was one of the roofs the flatbed for the vehicle?
This?
Yeah. Because you noticed it's the same design on the floor.
You know, and that's one of those things that I just don't know.
Yeah.
The
I think it's
the biggest issue with the March, right? So Dan always puts here at the top of the books who designed it, the year it was supposed to come out. Notice all of this says, I'm granted it's a shitty photo again, but it all says not applicable because they don't really know. Now, maybe this is something that when we're at DFW, and again, I can't stress enough, this is what makes DFW so special is you have all of these designers right in front of you. We can walk up to Kirk and say, hey, Kirk, with the picture on my phone, who fucking designed this? Now, if Dan couldn't find out, it's probably lost to time because Dan knows his stuff and he does his research. But all the designers are there. He could say, hey, go talk to this guy, go talk to that guy. For all we know, the roofs just come off and stay off. Obviously, this kind of thing, that the March is designed to be sort of like the Coastal Defender. It was a precursor to it, where it just looks like 3 unassuming connexes side by side, and then you fold everything out and the stuff on the top. But what a lot of people would probably appreciate is all of the conversations that you and I had, like, oh, well, are the tools going to be molded, or are we going to like place tools into like, you know, little C-clips, or what's going on here? Does this flip up? You know, does the roof flip over and everything pegs into the roof? Like, we had numerous conversations. Do the 2 roofs fold over? How many times did we discuss this thing at length? A lot. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, there it is, the frickin' March. And I believe this is one version of the Goliath. That was another unproduced vehicle, just like dropping it off. But again, we don't know. We don't even know, like, what is this? Like,
well, another thing too,
drawing.
Look at the studs for the feet. It apparently only has 2, one in the very front and one in the back corner. I don't see a 3rd or a 4th strut.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Obviously, that is not going to work in real life. You want a little bit more support there, but yeah, I mean, some of this stuff, like, we're going to have to make our own shit up because this is all we got. This is it. That's all it is.
Mr. Madgus, what's up, man? Good to see you. Well, SOOKA just unveiled the first connex of this Unproduced Joe playset that we're going to make a reality for everybody. You know, I honestly don't know, but this is kind of the excitement of doing this stuff. Some of it is just going to be creative liberty. Now, when we go to DFW, we can pick a bunch of people's brains. If they don't know, then we just, you know, we got a 70% solution right here, and then we just go with the rest. Most of it is going to be on you as the designer because, I mean, you're the talented one. You know, I just have
Shot
pictures.
in the dark at
That's
this
what I bring, pictures. But I mean, yeah, obviously that's a tactical battle platform gun. And you see the reuse over and over. Even with the Cobra Island playset, you can pick out like, oh, this piece is from that, this piece is from that. Even one of the gun stations is a reuse from the General because, again, Guy Cassidy, right? But
I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense because they want to reuse tooling. So
it's going to be Lord scale 118. Now, if SOOKA wants to offer it in 112,
I'm sorry, you mean the Lord scale or the 666 Devil scale? What is this Lord versus God scale? There's only one Lord. And
there's only one Lord scale, ladies and gentlemen. That's 118. So
don't make me get out the book.
Is this something that you would consider in 112?
Oh, hell no, man. This, let me for people that
break it down,
that are not 3D printers, that maybe they buy 3D prints or they know 3D printers or something. But just to give an example, that the main piece here, this back piece here, and this one side right here, these two pieces, it's just two pieces. They're just two dimensions, right? That piece took 20 hours to print. Just that one piece. And there's nothing to it. I mean, that piece has no joints, no hinges, no detail. It's just a big solid chunk of FDM plastic, and it took 20 hours at this scale. It takes up the entire printing board to do that one piece. So unless I completely bought new printers that had a much larger space, there's no way in hell anybody's making this in 112 scale without it turning into like a year-long project, because it is just big and it's a lot of flat area, which it takes a long time to print. You'd think that something like more complex would take longer, but the bigger and flatter something is, the longer it takes to do. So I think this is more or less going to be a one-off project that will eventually end up in Chad's Room Day Joe.
You're not going to offer this?
No.
Oh shit! I thought you were.
No.
we just pissed everybody off.
No. No, I stick to what I'm safely okay with. I don't even want to say good. I'm okay with. That's what I stick to selling to other people, because I don't like selling anything that I don't back.
Well, and that's a valid point. And even Nico says, flat spaces take a lot of time, and I know he would know, but you could offer the files, right?
The files, I wouldn't have a problem, because like I said, I wouldn't do this. Like I have more designs that don't get shown and don't get made than you'll ever imagine, and I've thought about maybe doing like a Patreon or something where I just load files up and say like, have at it, like enjoy all these things. But I don't have the followers for that, and right now I have some files that are on the hell is that cycle? Cults. That's where like the Cults 3D is like a file sharing site, and I have
like Thingiverse or something.
Yeah, and I have like some of the files I did for like the Batwing and stuff like that, and I put those on there. If I'm not gonna make them, I'm not gonna sell the stuff, I put them on there, and then I say, buy them once, and then whatever you do with them, I don't care anymore. There's a guy who stole those. He took the files and started selling the kits on Etsy, and even though I wanted to be a petty little bitch and like complain, I just said, whatever, dude. Like,
yeah,
sure.
That's the thing with a lot of people who create STL files and stuff. You see a lot of people ganking other people's files. You see that a lot, and it sucks. But
yeah,
I mean, like Hal jokingly said Napster, right? Talk about file sharing, right?
I've got a bunch of free ones on Thingiverse, but I have like 4 paid ones on Cults. So like Mark II, he's got a bunch of free designs on Thingiverse that he lets you download and print if you want, and he's also got ones you can pay for. So I think that's the kind of free market that I think is great. But
yeah. Stuart Jardine says, sorry to say it's midnight and getting up for work is approaching too quick. Great show, gents. Thank you, Stuart. Chat Squad, a pleasure as always. Thanks for being here, Stuart. Thanks for being a channel member. Mother Slug wants to know, what does FE stand? Field equipment? I don't know. That's the thing. You don't know what was on this door right here. Again, I think that's probably a creative liberty. Would you put that on there? Or would you just ditch that?
Well, now it's making me wonder if there's something in front of that, like on the other door.
I don't know, but you can see like this kind of looks like a door. But then again, I don't think the middle part is anything except for what we see right here.
Well, here's the thing in my head. If this is a military position, why would you advertise? If the whole point of this is to hide all this shit in Connex containers, why would you mold in the name of it as a tactical name? Like, obviously that would be against the point of it. So to me, those are probably painted on, and maybe this is one that's not in a combat zone and they're just like, well, no one's ever going to attack this, so let's just name it.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it could be someone's name, but again, I can't make this out, like who that was. Could be. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I never noticed that.
The thing is with the march on there, though, that's pretty Joe. That's a pretty Joe thing to do. You know, I especially like the touch that they put H, you know, the heavy in red and everything else is white. But you know, are we going down the rabbit hole? Yeah, we're already there. Trust me. But
you might need to know somebody who does really good painting.
It's weird. I know
somebody who might be into custom works, maybe.
I know a few. No.
Does custom works.
Carnage 717 says you would get the followers for a Patreon with those designs.
I would love to think so.
Rising tide raises all ships, my friend. So like you're making this for really for me, but for everyone, right? Offer the files, you know. Definitely at least try to make your money back, even though I am, you know, gonna pay for this.
It's time.
I think that, you know, people would love to have this. And I honestly, even though today is the first time I heard you say you're only going to make the one, I would feel bad if there was only one out there. I would feel bad for that because I didn't want this just for me. I wanted this for everybody.
Oh yeah, no, I always kind of intended that one way or another, the files, once I was done, would be available. I just don't know if I would just throw it out in the marketplace, because one of the things also is, and I know this might seem kind of like whatever, but you'd be surprised how many like messages I get from Chinese companies like asking to buy the files to make stuff. So like there is kind of a pirate market there where you'll see designs show up in like cheap products that'll suddenly come out. So like that's the only thing I don't want to have happen is like somebody actually does take it and try to turn it into something. Yeah. But if it's just random people that want to make this thing at home, that's awesome. Like that would be amazing. I just, you know, when we get to the stage of when it's completed and it's done, and then say, okay, you know, is this worth throwing the files up on a site for someone to buy? Then yeah. I mean, well,
I think that when it's done, like when it's done, like, and you or I or whatever can hold, like show the physical thing, we can do another stream. I'll set up my other camera. We'll just go over the whole fucking thing, right? I'll put dollies in it and everything, you know, maybe a couple of vehicles, you know, for scale. And then we can ask people, or you can ask people, you can use that as like a, hey, how would you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, you're the creative. So yeah,
loosely.
Anyway, I'm super freaking excited about this project. I'm glad that you showed all of us for the first time tonight that I guess it's the right Connex, right? Because we're looking at it from stage. You showed everybody that right Connex. Obviously there's some more stuff that we got to get in the weeds about, behind the scenes. What are we doing with the center one? Yada, da, 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 da. But I mean, we're getting there. There's one, right? So it's probably a quarter of the whole project.
It takes a while to do stuff like this because, like I said, it's not as simple as, hey, I already have one of these at home. Let me just, copy the design real quick and throw it in the thing. It's all in you just got to make shit up, figuring out the scale even. I know I had to make like multiple doors just to make sure that it's scaled with a 3 3/4 inch figure, 4-inch figure. It was tall enough. It made sense tall enough. Like there has to be space. Connexes aren't normal. Well, Chad size, the connexes are right here, but most people, there's like a good foot or 2 feet above their head. Yeah. So that all has to come into play. And that sometimes takes playing around with size. So everything takes time. I'm sure that whoever is working on your other projects also has to do a lot of R&D for figuring out those particular parts about the scale.
The thing about Cobra Island though is we have Guy Cassidy like on board. Like I don't want to say at my disposal, but I've had several conversations with him already, like just stupid little things like, hey, what's the inside of this? What were the colors? Were they just like Terrordrome colors? Like we've had numerous conversations with Guy Cassidy, like behind the scenes already. And a lot of that it's being archived. Like I have email conversations that I'm saving for that exact purpose. But you and I don't have the opportunity for this. It's just like OD green on the outside, leave it gray on the whatever, like white, fucking silver, make a decision. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. Carnage says, I would definitely buy them. And Jeffrey wants to know, will a vamp fit in the auto bay?
It might. I wonder, I don't have a vamp on me at the second and within reach.
Jeffrey, we'll get back to you on that, if a vamp will fit in that vehicle bay.
I think maybe I could make it big enough to fit on the last one, but I don't think a vamp would fit in an actual container in real life either.
No,
so
a vamp would not fit in the Connex.
Scaling issues.
No.
I was trying to think of we can talk about it later, but I was trying to come up with Joe vehicles that would fit, that could be a way of judging. I don't know which one.
The armadillo would fit.
Oh yeah, it would.
The bikes would fit. Yeah, I mean, but again, it's based on Connexes, right? Connexes are not wide enough to fit, high mobility multi-wheeled vehicle like that, which is, by the way, that's what Humvee stands for. Or something the size of a Lamborghini Cheetah. Yeah, the pack rats, fucking George Aiken's like, pack rats will fit, whatever. Yeah, they'll fit for sure.
It'll
an Awe Striker, yeah. Broken down like in the flat fender Willie Jeep crates, from World War II. Yeah, absolutely. The LCV Recon sled, everybody's just like throwing shit out. Yeah, the bikes will definitely. Oh yeah, well here, let me show that. Yeah, there you go.
Plenty of space.
That'll fit 2 bikes.
Yeah. They fell over.
Fell over
in there easily though. There you go.
Bardo, what's up, brother? Oh yeah, there you go.
Easy. You could probably get 3 in there. I don't have 3 though.
You don't have 3, fucking amateur.
Hey, at least I got a desert one, okay?
Chad, how insensitive of you.
First time I used her tonight. Oh, hey, my handler's texting me again. By the way.
Bobby?
Yeah, man. Actually, some Connex containers hold trains, or maybe they just host them.
Shout out to whoever designed this. I love this thing so much.
Oh, yeah.
This is the greatest.
Black Dragon? That thing is freaking awesome, dude. I love that vehicle. And the figure that comes with it is money. Humble says, if you do one for Cobra, a ferret would fit. Well, see, there you go. When it's done, when this project is done, you can print it or paint it in whatever colors you people want. There you go.
Now everybody has me thinking
Standard
about
20-foot Connex is 8.6 feet in height, and the width is 6.10 feet. Yeah, there you go. Not gonna fit. Yeah. Black Dragon.
it's roughly based on a real one. It's just figured down.
Yeah.
It's for the
Yeah, there you
action
go.
figures, guys.
The vamp is 4.5 inches wide, 9 inches long.
Oh, you keep your sizes to yourself there, Nick.
Yeah, it's not gonna fit.
No,
I don't think that's gonna fit.
I think it's too wide. The wheels.
Yeah. That's probably what's too wide.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
for sure. Otherwise, it would.
By the way, that's my San Diego Comic-Con Hound Vamp. Thank you very much.
What a great set that
Not
was.
like anybody cares. Look at this shit.
You know, it actually would not height though, but it fit width and length.
I'm sorry. I got to respond to this.
I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't believe it. Oh, Chad's flexing Joe again. No, I'm not. It's literally the only vamp that was behind me. I was just cracking a joke. I have to echo what Nowhere Manchild, another awesome dude who's going to be at DFW with us and has awesome prices for stuff. Congratulations to Jay Bartlett for passing 100,000 subs on YouTube.
Damn,
Jay is now at 104,000 and skyrocketing. And he also just put on his Instagram that he received his silver play button from YouTube. And I could not be happier for my brother and great friend.
Hell yeah. Congrats,
what
Jay.
about a Z-Force Jeep?
Oh, you mean
The AF7?
this guy?
Oh, you got one too. Look at this guy.
It's missing the top, but I actually did try and it doesn't fit, sadly. Little too wide.
Shit. I lost Captain Skip. Did you make yourself big? Did I do that?
I don't know. Did you? I just need the roof.
I think the width is the same.
Yeah, it's just it's that much too big.
No, dude, Hound almost went off the desk. I gotta stop.
That's not
I'm
a
losing, I'm losing my dollies. They're all falling down.
I thought these things came with little boats on the top that were the roof.
Yeah.
Big. That's what I'm missing. Yeah. That's what I need. That thing. Can't find anything out here though.
It's too small to fit a Z-Force. Z-Force, yeah, Z-Force. Vanguard. Yeah, he did make one. He sure did. George said they didn't come with the tops.
Really?
I guess this was separate.
Well, that's good.
Other versions had tops.
When I Googled it, I was like, oh,
The original one did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That means I'm just missing the antenna, which I'll never.
Sweet.
Probably.
Yeah, so now we've put it out there into the universe. Now you gotta finish it. Yeah. You have to finish it now. And then we'll just go from there. But we can look at this again and look at Sharon. This friend, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I don't want to dust as much. Yeah, but we can re-engage this project again. We can do another live stream. We can do some updates on the playset for sure. I know that a lot of people would be interested in it, especially the way this chat's just been flying by since we revealed that you're going to be making this project come to life. But I personally can't thank you enough for agreeing to do this because it's rad.
It's a challenge. It's something that's never been done before. It just kind of makes sense.
There's just something cool about seeing this unproduced stuff, you know, again, the work that Dan put into all of these volumes, all 15 of them, and each one of them had something unproduced, but 14 and 15 are nothing but unproduced. And like, to know that this playset is going to happen, it's just as cool as like, now I have an O-ring Ronald Reagan. They were trying to put Ronald Reagan into a real American hero. And this is kind of where my passion is going these days, like making unproduced stuff realities with quality creators. And for everybody who's still hanging out with us in the chat, again, thank you for being here. But I'm letting everybody know that I'm going to be reaching out to more creators to make other unproduced projects, and we're just going to keep going. So we got 2 on the books right now, Cobra Island and the March, and there's going to be more coming. But this is my new passion project. Make these unproduced items.
I'd love to see more of them.
Yeah.
I'd love to do the what's that big ass semi with the trailer that you guys showed? It'll kind of look like the dragon. It was one of I thought you said it was one of Cassiday's designs. There was almost like a dragon truck with the trailer on the back. There was a
like the
flatbed.
Hemet, and then it had like the missile pod that came up out of the flatbed.
Yeah.
That's the Goliath. That's this bitch right here.
Yeah, that's one I think would be fun to tackle too.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. And that is like straight based on a current day Hemet. Yeah, for sure. It was written on the box. What was written on the box? I don't know. Hey Chad, any word on the custom B1 bomber? Yes and no. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, that's still happening. Any customs in the works? Well, Mr. Strauco, since my Joe room looks like this, no, I'm still trying to get this room in order. No customs in the pipe right now. But yeah, man. Vishay Conley, our good friend, sends a $5 super chat. Samantha and I are super hyped for DFW. We'll be there Thursday. So if anyone sees us out and about, just say hello. SOOKA, when are you getting into DFW?
Thursday through Monday, I believe.
That's weird. Guess when I'm going to be there?
Same.
Thursday through Monday. Yeah. Yep. I think a lot of us are getting there on Thursday. What are you bringing to DFW?
So,
I know you kind of talked on it real quick.
Well, so I'm gonna obviously bring stuff this year that I didn't bring last year to do at the Chad meet, the Chad swap meet, Chad, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I'll have some stuff there that
swap day chatty.
Yeah, that's what. I think it was Mikey who said it the first time, and in my head, all I could hear was that Sir Mix-a-Lot song, Swap Meet Louie. All I could hear is Swap Meet Chatty. That's just all I can hear. Anyway, so I'll bring some stuff for that, but I'm going to be having some little exclusive freebies to hand out. It's going to be like a little baggie. There's going to be a little 3D printed souvenir for the specific DFW show 2025. I have a sticker. This year had a new sticker for this year that's in the same heart as last year's kind of nose art inspired sticker. And it'll also be included in that. And they're very limited, obviously. Hooligans and stuff like that, I've already got enough for them. And then I have like another 50 or so to hand out. So I would say if you were interested in one, and I might as well just show the
show. Don't show the dinosaur mouth. You're gonna get me in trouble.
No. So this is basically.
Let
me see if I can get it to focus better here. There we go. So
It's a Texas
it's just a
hologram.
little hologram of Texas, and then there's a. Let's see if I can get light with it. So there's like there's a target on Dallas, and then it says Dolly Friends.
Sweet.
And then on the base, it says DFW 2025.
Dude, that's rad. That's freaking
it
awesome.
Works either scale. You can have a little guy handling it, or it can go in a little command center or something. And yeah, so that'll be in the bag, and then the sticker is, and maybe some other surprises. And I've thought about maybe doing a couple of rando, like if you come to me and say a phrase, you'll get an extra thing. But
yeah,
it's all dependent upon time, and it's starting to get real short until we leave. So,
dude, that thing's cool. I'm gonna put that in my tarot room. That's where that's gonna go.
It kind of, if it's in the right light, it looks kind of holographic-y.
Yeah, no, that's freaking killer, man. Thanks for showing that. Vishay, thank you for the $5 super chat, and thank you for initiating that awesome conversation, because I haven't seen that piece before either. 49er Brian had a good question / point. What about maybe on the roof pieces? We'll just say the central roof piece, because you already made one, right? We incorporate sling load hooks like the tactical battle platform.
That is absolutely possible.
That's kind of a rad idea, right? I mean, you can't see the roof. We don't know.
Yeah, we could just make it that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just put right in the four corners. Now. Yeah, we could put some sling load hooks.
You know,
I think that's kind of a rad idea.
Now that 49er Brian said that, do you think, and maybe probably need a whole other stream to talk about this, but do you think the crane like lowers down into it? Like, do you think that stuff's supposed to like go down into the center one and like actually seal up, or are those like attachments? Or like I don't know. That just came to my head right now while we were looking at it. Like, if I would assume those things have to go down.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
the whole other.
That's brainstorming for another time.
Oh man.
Also, our good friend Nicotronus quotes Jan Silent Bob Strike Back. You follow the book? The unwritten book of the road. And Ken's Toys, channel member for 13 months since day one. Thank you, Ken. Says, what program do you use for designing, SOOKA? None ya.
Blender. Oh, I have Blender and what the hell is the other one called? Nomad and something else. Man, I never remember the names of stuff, but it is a steep learning curve. It is not for you get ready to cry and throw stuff and say, Chad, why are you so insensitive? A lot, because it is.
Chad, how insensitive of you.
What?
It's tough. It's rough.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, dude, everybody's really excited about your little holographic targeting system. That's freaking awesome. Find SOOKA and scream, it's science, for a treat. See, that makes me want to play it, but I don't want to overkill it. You know what I mean? Yes.
If science, people.
All right, sorry. What?
If you come with rainbow colored suspenders, I will give you something for free. It just will be later. In the darkness.
Yeah, Hal said you can make it so the crane arm stands straight up and slides down into the other part. And then Humble says the crane lowering into the box would be radical.
It would, man, but we also got to think about what's practical with the materials, which is if you were Hasbro and you had molds with a hook and a crane already and a gun, you would find a way to reuse those. So
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
I mean,
other
because
part.
talk about reuse. I mean, that's reuse right there for
Yeah.
sure, 100%.
That's the only reason why I'm saying
That's
forget
cool.
that.
The big thing is putting sling load hooks on the central connex. Well, the tactical battle platform had sling load hooks, so that makes sense in regard to this playset fitting in with the real American hero. The whole idea isn't take the 70% solution and just go like 2025 nuts with it. SOOKA and I had lots of conversations. Again, like, are all the tools going to be, like little pieces that we see clip on? And I'm like, yeah, but in a lot of these toys and play sets, they were molded, right? So we're trying to get the feel of like that 85, 86 G.I. Joe. It fits right in. Like we just want it, like when it's done and it's completed and it's in a collection, you can't pick it out and go, that's not real American hero. So how would the real American hero designers deal with this? And again, a lot of these are questions that we might get answers to in 3 weeks in Dallas. So we don't know.
Yeah.
Some
And
of it's going to change.
The nice thing about the project like this is, say if you decided, hey, we want to take that middle and we want to add a bunch of molded tools, well, you can just design and make that part and put it on there. I mean, it's not like we don't have to buy a steel mold, so we can kind of.
Oh God, yeah. Joel wants to know what printer you use or printers.
I use Elegoo Neptunes.
There you go. Sweet. Our good friend TJC, good to see you, Terry, channel member for 13 months, also since day one. Thank you again for that, my friend. Says Legend Chad. Oh, that's me. Great to see you streaming again. It's great to be here, and thank you for being here along with everyone else. Again, it feels good. It does. It feels good. So
it's good to have you back, Chad.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. It's good to see you. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks, man. I can't wait to see everybody. It's been a year. It's been too long. Our good friend Triple D is nuts. I think the floor on the center connex raises up and the roof is segmented into pieces that fold out to make additional floor space.
That's actually kind of on point. If you think about if the whole thing just was on like a slide. So like everything was inside and then you take the top off and the bottom, there's a bottom panel that slides up. That's some good shit.
See,
man.
I kind of saw it as like you flip the roof.
Well, yeah, that's what we talked about. Because you kind of see if you look at the photo next to the crane, there's that green bar there. So I was thinking maybe that was the other roof flipping over on top.
Over, yeah.
And then so those things were stored in the motor department area, or whatever you want to call it. That's what it looks like to me because it's got that green top.
Talk about this right here.
No, on next to the crane.
Here?
See that green bar that's across the top? That made me think it's the roof from the other connex.
I don't know, but I mean, we still got some stuff to go over, but yeah. Is the radar tower part of the unit, or is it another thing close by?
We don't know.
We could go either way with that.
Hey, Chad, just find me a flag radar. We'll be good. No problem. They're everywhere.
I actually, because I have that custom updated flag mast. I still have my original flag mast in a bag. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Joel says, looking forward to meeting everyone in the real. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yep. And then Mother Slug says, understand that area you see may be bigger and longer than what you're seeing, meaning past the wall where the jet engine is may go farther back at the antenna. Yeah, we don't know. So again, it's just kind of, yeah. I mean, we could sit here and just chew on this all day, but yeah, it's one of those things.
Have a whole stream about this toy. That's what's ridiculous.
I'm kind of with Radnom here. Just the fact that it's grayed out. I mean, like this vehicle's in the it's in the image as well. It doesn't mean the vehicle was part of it. So I don't think it's part of
on
it.
purpose.
But again, right? This is how we get into the weeds on things. What is that? Is that a mount for an antenna? I don't know.
Looks like it.
You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
I think what's throwing people off is if normally you wouldn't have that kind of complex antenna. They're not that complex looking in real life. They're far more generic. At least the ones I had to work on bases were super genetic, or not genetic.
Yeah.
Generic.
So I mean, this is kind of, we wanted to share with everybody. First of all, like announce like, yes, we're going to make this unproduced playset, but also understand this is 9 months. How long in the making is this?
Well, talking about it, probably about 9 months. Actually working on it piece by piece is about 6 months.
Right. So, I mean, it's not going to be like next week. We're going to be like, okay, it's done. Like it's going to be a minute. So yeah, it definitely is a cool looking playset. It's something that when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's pretty friggin' Joe, right? You should have made that. But
and we're essentially we're not doing anything now until DFW to see if we can squeeze out any more information out of somebody before we move any further in this stuff, because this is the only piece we see the whole thing, and that's why I did it, because we see everything. The other ones we don't know shit about it. That's
true. So we'll get what answers we can at DFW, and then SOOKA will go forward with that. And Action Joe Fig says, yes, sir, it'll be time for another goofy photo op with Chad. Yeah, I'm the photo bomb master. So that's definitely going to happen. I think we beat that into the ground. Yeah. Everybody say goodbye to the march for now. Bye. I don't know what this means.
I don't know either.
31 uniform? Is that an MOS? If it's not 11 Bravo, it ain't shit. I'm sorry. So I don't know what it is. Or, 11 Charlie. I'll take that.
I finally found one after you stole all of them.
Oh, hey. You know what? You just reminded me. You want to do a giveaway?
Yeah.
We had some people leave, but fuck them. That's what you get. We're going to do a giveaway. Son of a Crayon Slayer said 91 Bravo, baby. The original 91 Bravo, when that was Combat Medic, because I was a 91 Bravo, or do you mean current 91 Bravo? Yeah. Because back in the 90s, 91 Bravo was Medic. Oh, yeah. He says MOS 31 uniform. George Aiken says, give me one. Okay, so here we go. Let me remove this. Stop this screen. Share another one, because I already had it queued up. And you, my friend SOOKA, reminded me we're going to give one of these away right now. Time now. I keep knocking my dollies out of my vehicle.
This is some good shit, man. This is
Triple D said you don't even need antennas. You need old school searchlights. Well, I don't see any on here. Yeah, kind of one of those things. So let me share. Oh, I can't share. I got to pop it out. Sorry. I'm a little rusty, kids. do. Share. All right. So if you want to win this free Hot Wheels G.I. Joe Sky Striker, put in the hashtag Hot Wheels and let's go. We're going to do that real quick. Like, yeah.
Dude,
are those Hot Wheels in stores or just online? I've only been able to find them on Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon. I've looked in the wild, but
I found these in the wild. I got 2 of them because I'm a bitch. But
where'd you find them?
Target. They were in a one of those big like side Hot Wheels rack things that they put up there, cardboard, and it had like a bunch of other shit in it, but there was still a couple of them left. So I was like,
sweet.
It was the day after I gave you shit too. That's what's great about it.
Hey, that's what you get, buddy.
Taking all of them, and then I found them.
Chad gets everything. So I got 3. I got 1 to open because it's Joe and I want to put my hands on it. 1 to keep on the card and then 1 to give away. So yeah, I want to give one away. We got 35 entries so far. Those are rookie numbers.
Dude,
Pump
how
those
can
numbers
you
up.
not like this? It's just the perfect, cheap, little fun Sky Striker. And
That's
it's not
again.
even, it doesn't fall apart. It's even better than the Hasbro.
It also doesn't have backwards blast effects.
I can't remember. One of the wings on mine is broken. So
What?
one of the wings on this is cooked. Just can't remember which one it was. Oh yeah.
Oh man. Dude, all the QC nightmare stories that came out with that thing. I opened one of the shipper boxes, and I'm just going to tell this story while we're getting some more entries on this. I opened one of the shipper boxes, gave the figures away, gave all the figures away in one shot. The vehicle itself is still in the, Hector Greedo inspired, like, boop, box. I never took it out. The other one, I gave it away, and I never even cracked the tape on the shipper. I was just like, hey, man, whatever's in there is fucking, that's on you. I have no idea, because you heard so many people like, oh, it didn't have seats. It didn't have freaking weapons. It didn't have blast effects. The figures were like, the blisters were off the cards. And this shit was a nightmare.
I didn't have any of those problems, but I had the gears that won't stay up and the wing is broken. So it's good stuff.
That sucks.
Quality.
I may not like the 1/12 scale. That's just a personal choice, right? I hope that when people get these rattlers, that's not going to happen to them.
It better not happen. Because if it happens, man, I'm going to go from not being on YouTube to being on YouTube every day with the same message of that.
Here's what we do, right? I get you on FaceTime. I'll go out in the car and I'll hold you on my phone up to my iPad and we'll do like a car rent inception. Yeah.
I'll go into my car and do it too. That way we're like both in cars.
Fuck yeah. Do it. Bobby and I have had several conversations about us doing a live stream both from our cars.
That would be pretty funny.
Someday that'll happen. I think we're good. It looks like we kind of stopped. So I'm going to give it one more minute and then I'm going to spin the wheel on this shit.
You know what we could also do? We could also do a live Rattler unboxing. And that way, if anything comes up, it's going to be live and ragey,
See, here's the thing. Yes, that would be cool. Jason, no spaces, dude. Just hashtag Hot Wheels, one word. Notice how the entries didn't change? Jason Brewer, just put it in like that, dude. Just like this. One more time. So I don't screw you out of an entry, my friend. Car Rant Stream, Bobby and Chad. Yeah, I don't know if we joked about it or what, but see, here's the thing. If you and I did some kind of a live Rattler unboxing, do you know the number of people that would be like, oh, he's only doing this for views. He didn't buy that. He doesn't collect this. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm sure.
Thought Wheels. Fucking Thought Wheels. Yeah, let's go. Fucking. So there's people that walk around like San Diego Comic-Con and whatnot. They wear shirts that say like Thought Patrol. I want one that says Shill Patrol. Ryan and I, we're gonna test some people's patience at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
I hope so.
Man. It's gonna happen.
You should go and be all right. Well, you should go and do like a interview
Wheels.
Interview with the Joe team, and like the one place that they don't have the ability to have set up questions is at SDCC. So you could technically put them on the spot there if you can get an interview okayed on the spot.
Well, from what I understand, and again, right, I haven't experienced it, you sign up to get a couple of minutes of, FaceTime with them. So,
No, I mean, but people last year, like a couple of the Joe channels, they were just there and they were like, okay, we got a couple of minutes with them. We're going to record it. So I was like, maybe you can just be like, hey, we'll ask them some questions about this generic thing and then be there and be like, hey, what the hell is going on with something and something?
no, I will. And not even as Tuffy McShillmeister in my wig and all that stuff, but like me, legitimately me. But I don't know, man. They would see me coming and be like, no, fuck, no. So, yeah, see, Chad won't get within 100 feet of the Joe team. They'll see him coming. Yeah, dude, I'll do the same thing with Flynn. Absolutely. I will do the exact same thing with Brian Flynn. I know people that are going to Joe Fest to walk up to him with G.I. Joe Ultimates figures to be like, what the fuck? So
I can't wait to see your interview with Brian Flynn. Hello, Brian. I want to ask you some questions about G.I. Joe.
Chad can wear a disguise. Again, I've said it numerous times, and SOOKA, Mikey, some guys can attest to this. People aren't used to seeing me like this. So this throws people off. When you see me in person with glasses on, it'll throw you off. Flynn would need to stand on a chair. Yeah.
So I'm saying all you'd see is Chad looking down and, hey, where's Brian at?
I may be skinny Chad now, but I'm still a big bitch. All right, we got 50 entries. We gave it a couple more minutes. We got 7 more. You want to kick this pig? We're going to do this?
I think it's time. Kick it. Come on, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
Oh get the fuck out!
This whole thing is rigged.
Fucking Ryan.
Dirty Ryan rigged it.
No,
again.
it's not rigged. You guys saw it live. I had nothing to do with it. Scammers. Fuck.
What the hell is even that?
Oh man, does that dude even know what G.I. Joe? Look, he won fair and square. I love you all. Ryan won it. You know what?
That's that bullshit.
You know what? Watch this. I'm gonna give away another. Here we go. Ryan gets one. Fuck it. I'll give away another. Here we go. I got 3. Jimmy Purvis. There you go. So I'll give 2 of them away. Yep. Ryan gets 1. Jimmy gets the other. Jimmy, my friend, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Send me your address, and I will get a Hot Wheels G.I. Joe Sky Striker out to you in the mail, my dude. Congratulations. Thanks everybody else for participating in our impromptu giveaway that I forgot about. I did forget about it. And yeah, I'll still give Ryan one because I'm a man of the people. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan won one fair and square. He did, but you know what? I gave away a second one because I have the ability to do so. So SOOKA, my friend, it's been an awesome 3 hours catching up. I miss you. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. What do you got for the folks at home hanging out with us on this, the Lord's Scale Day?
Well, I just want to say that I remember, boys, that these are just toys, okay? Treat everybody with a little bit of respect for yourselves and for them. Just a little bit, just enough that we keep the peace, man, because at the end of the day, we get better results when we're together. When we stand up together and we tell people, we tell companies, we want better for our money. That's how you get shit. If you don't buy something because you don't think it's worth the money, that's how you get shit. But if you're always going to fight each other and say, hey, man, you're stupid for liking this, then
Hi.
hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm terrific.
Good.
We gave away some toys. We were just
Oh,
ending.
good. Nice. Very good. Very good.
Anyway, I'm sorry. We threw you off. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, actually, Bill said it right. Apes together. Strong.
They're strong.
Yeah. Oh, everybody's saying hi to you, ma'am.
Hi. Yes, that's about to be official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a full DFW too, because you know last year you didn't get to do as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Callie? Whoa. You remember my dog? Remember when she was little? She's not little anymore, man. Jeez Louise. Anyway, SOOKA, my friend, sign us off.
Hello, everybody. Go F yourselves.
Go forth and do good things.
Chad, how insensitive of you.